Good day, everybody. How's it going? Trying to see if this is gonna work. There it goes. Gotta change scenes. Hey, let's see if it's going up here. I'll see. I'll keep talking. Coming on here. I'm a little late, but work, you know, it's a thing. Pain in the butt. Yeah, I think I hear me. Music's kind of loud, man. Holy cow. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me just fine. Let me check the options here. Is the music all the way up again? We're going to turn the music down a little bit. This holy cow was that loud. Woo! Whoa, buddy. Anyways. We were at the bar, and we were about to head and find out. Now, I noticed something here, and that's my purity is at 10%. So I guess saving the bar made me a saint? Kind of weird. I think that was what caused it, but who knows. How's it going, Tony? The happy Red Roo? I don't know about happy, man. Things have been kind of busy at work. I'm getting kind of I get kind of sassy and annoyed at this time of year when it comes to work. And that makes it hard to make videos sometimes. You're like, So I just got home like 10 minutes ago. It's kind of nuts. Wind changers. You're trying to make a new name? You have to make a new name for us every game there, Ganovo? Peace. But we read 9 books. We have 0% morale, 0% corruptions, 10% purity at 6 hours. So let's start our game. We were at the bar. We learned a lot about Pro Man here. Alright, it's loading. It be loading. It's a loading. Whoop. Don't break. Alright, everything's checked off. Yep, we're gonna hit this button here. I make my way towards the private rooms. It's time to get some rest. Ooh, the wind changes. Whew. It's been a long day, and the subsequent days show no sign of changing pace. This new life would simply be the nature of things. Everything was different. I let that settle in for a while. It'd be almost impossible to sleep as things stood. All of our lives were flipped around in an instant. Not only that, but put in danger too. There's no guarantee that any of us would survive this, and we didn't have a choice but to fight. At least I didn't. Regardless of my feelings, I couldn't turn my back on Alessia. If I did that, I'd be saying my own life was more important than our entire world. No matter how hard I tried, there's no way I could convince myself that that was true. I sit on the edge of the bed and let out a long sigh as I lay back. I don't get much rest before I'm shaken wide awake. The door to my room slowly opens. It's Valessa and Fontaine. It seems like they disregarded both my privacy and my desire to sleep. Cold and flu season, usually it's when seasons change. People are more susceptible to those kind of things. So, you can get the flu anytime, really. Obviously, the colder it is, the easier it is to, your body's working to keep yourself warm and all that. But, yeah, flu shots, I think, change over usually in October, so if you don't have it, get one. I rise up to greet them, unsure of what to say. I'm answering in the blind right now, so you can look at the options and pick one. That's what I do, is I pick an option, and whatever is the closest one is my vote toward it. So, hey, what are you doing in my room? Having trouble falling asleep, too? You could have knocked, Good to see you two. I was getting lonely. Remain silent. I think that you could have knocked is actually the closest I came to it. So I guess that's where my vote lies. But you guys can vote too. So there's the icons basically have different meanings to them. Like obviously there's the stoic response, the lovey response, the aggressive response, and the jovial response. I don't know why they came into the room together. They're like, let's interrupt him while he's trying to sleep. You know. Always a great thing. How's it going, Golden Bonnie? Here's the time to vote. The group is all here. The only one who's not here is Johnson. And I worry that he won't show up for particular reasons. What's the weather like in Charlottesville? Or what's the weather like in Charleston today? Or yesterday? Holy cow. It's probably quiet in Charleston now. Wasn't yesterday. Hopefully Johnson's doing all right. Charleston, Alabama. Oh my God! Let's make that a thing, guys. Charleston, Alabama. What the heck? All right, guys. So having trouble falling asleep too. You could have knocked, you know. Good to see you too. I was getting lonely. Or we remain silent. And if you remain silent, everyone who doesn't vote, I'm going to call remain silent. See? Because you're not saying anything. And so I'm going to count that as a vote for remain silent. I'm forcing your hand. Alright, we got one trouble sleeping. Mine is you could have knocked, you know, because that was the closest to what I said, without looking at the options. You voted. What did you vote? Evening, y'all? Good to see you. Oh, good to see you too. Oh, okay. I was gonna... Hey, Johnson, you're all right. Good to see you. What's the weather like, Johnson, in Charleston? What's the weather like? Huge trouble sleeping? Okay, so we have two trouble sleeping. You have trouble sleeping too going once. Have trouble sleeping going twice. Alright, have trouble sleeping.
Yeah, that's the long and short of it. Fortim and I have been talking.
Forgot I was voice acted.
There's something we need to discuss. Now.
Yeah, we both came to the same conclusion. This isn't an order. It's more of a polite demand.
I gotta stop being sassy.
Seer, you need to choose the next elder of Valinor.
Now?
You have a lot on your plate. You can't handle everything responsibly. Valinor's future requires nothing but the utmost care and attention. We can't expect you to lead Valinor and train with that blade.
It's exactly like she said. Listen, I know this may seem sudden to you, but we've been talking about it for a while now.
Of course you have.
We wouldn't feel comfortable leaving Peregrino without a new elder. Someone needs to plot Valinor's future and make choices along the way. Considering you'll be busy with the rebellion, we want you to elect one of us.
Oh, this is going to be an important decision, guys. Because I think what's going to happen here is whoever I choose here is going to stay behind. Is that in essence what they're saying? Is like, we're making a decision right now, and one of these two is going to stay behind. So the question is, do you want Fortame to come with, or do you want her to come with? That's the more important question, probably more than who the elder is going to be. Valessa nods and smiles. I can tell they're both dead serious.
Let us carry this burden, Seer. Please.
I rub the fatigue out of my eyes, stare at them for a few moments, and I say to them, Can I sleep on it, please? Let me sleep on it. Baby, baby, let me sleep on it. Let me sleep on it. I'll give you an answer in the morning. I'm gonna get a copyright strike, do you know it? Oh my god. I can't do a cover. I haven't gotten the licensing. Sorry. I rubbed the fatigue out of my eyes and blah blah blah. It seems that lately people had a tendency to put me on the spot. Their intentions were pure, however, to stop me from being overwhelmed. Any effort to alleviate the pressure shouldn't go unnoticed. I cross my arms and continue to stare at them. They look concerned. This is almost like an intervention. I doubt they'll leave without results.
Did we say something wrong? Look, he has no idea what to say.
And I thought we made our case pretty clear. Look, we're the best two candidates here. You should make your choice before the night is over.
We can talk about it a little more if you'd like. It'd be best if this wasn't a hasty choice, right? Let's think things through, like a team.
There goes that rest we wanted to have. Looks like I'll have to get comfortable.
She makes her way to the back of the room and sits on the chest. It seems uncomfortable, even for a makeshift chair, but she doesn't show it. Fontaine yawns and rests his back against the windowsill, whistling innocently.
So, what do we talk about?
Can I sleep on it? Baby, baby, can I sleep on it? Do I really have to choose right now? Fontaine, why do you want to be elder? Valessa, why do you want to be elder? No need to talk further. I made up my mind. Alright, let me do the...
Like we said, ruling Valinor requires a lot of attention.
This
Quite
is not
frankly,
a choice
we
anyway.
don't think you have enough to spare. Not with the rebellion and that blade in the mix, at least.
We just want to help you. For example, that choice about Peregrino, you could have left it to us instead of stressing out about it. Doesn't it make more sense to do that in the future? That way, it won't interfere with your training. You need to give that blade all of your effort.
Yeah, and we really are the best two candidates. There's no need to worry about making the wrong choice here. I'm sure that both of us will lead Valinor to a great future.
But first things first, we need to reconnect with the spirits. There's no point settling down on condemned land. We'll have to ensure our future before we plan it out.
Yeah, he's right. Anything else?
Why do you want to be elder?
Well, I'm actually a fan of what Milas and his father have done. Valinor has spent more than enough time being independent. We need to band together. We'll be strong enough to face any threat. Valessa wants to maintain our independence. We can't have that. How long until we're attacked again? The Triumvirate isn't our last enemy, and when that time comes, I want to have allies. We need to be strong. To that end, I would have converted Peregrino into a barracks. I know you didn't, and I'm going to honor your choice. I'll be proud to lead Valinor just as you left it. Is that all?
Valessa, why do you want to be the elder?
Because Milas and his father have given up Valinor's soul. We need to stand apart. Our culture, our line of seers, they're special. Valinor was and always should be independent. It's just fact. Whatever comes our way, we can handle it on our own. That's the way it's been for thousands and thousands of years. This is only happening because we stoked the Triumvirate's ire. That won't happen again. And Fortum can't see that. He wants to unite with the rest of Alestia and give up our identity. Why waste all of our resources preparing for something that won't happen? I think you understand where I'm coming from. Otherwise, you would have turned this place into a barracks. It's important to our identity. We can't just throw it away. Any other questions?
Alright. So one of them is make Valinor great again. No, I'm just kidding. So basically globalism versus nationalism, right? That's basically what the stereotype drones down to. Like, do we become a nation that interacts with the world, or we just remain isolated, or try to remain isolated? if I'm talking just purely on the arguments that they made, the one argument I didn't like that she said, it's like, oh, well, the Triumvirate's coming after us because we intervened, right? And it's like, you don't know that. It's like they could be handling other things, and now that, Valenorth is like the juicy target, like, how do you know they're not going to come after Valenorth after they take care of everyone else, right? And same thing with his side is more like, if I were choosing, I know who I would choose. I'll let you guys make a decision though. They both gulp audibly, anticipating my decision. This was it. I decided the direction of Valenorth's future. It would either be Fontaine's unity or Velissa's independence.
Well, what is it?
Please think this through.
Your choice will change Alestia's future. Fontaine, I elect you as Valenorth's elder. Or Velissa, I elect you as Valenorth's elder. Since this is the first major decision, this personally, I'm probably going to save the next game on a different profile or on a different save slot. But you guys get to have a pick. I have my pick. I know what I'm picking. I know what I would pick. So they won't let me sleep on it. No. We'll have to think it through. It looks like everyone's thinking it through. Do we choose Bunny Guy, who wants to unite Valenorth and start fighting the Triumvirate directly, or do we choose Velissa, who wants to not get involved? Alright, we have one for Velissa. Everyone's like, I don't want to vote publicly. I mean, it's a very important decision. We should have like a private booth and stuff with like hot crinkets and nice like I get a nice sticker saying I voted. It's the bunny and the wolf, which are better animals than the donkey and the elephant, by the way. I mean, that really at the end of the day is the most disappointing thing about American politics, isn't it? Is that the animals that they chose for their freaking political parties suck, man. Like who? Oh, an elephant and a mule. Great. Like, you ever realize that not a lot of furries choose those as their personas? It's like, do you think that oh, we have somebody comes in and says Fontaine. Vermeer Renard, hey, how's it going? First time I've seen you. Welcome. Johnson, what's the weather like in Charlotte? In Charleston? Or is it Charlestonville? I can't remember. It's one of those C ones. Alright, so we have 2 for Velissa, 1 for Fontaine. So Velissa going once. Velissa going twice. Velissa going 2 3/4. Velissa. Oh, they just gave... It's like, what's the achievement? Strength or identity? Okay. So we're choosing identity, apparently. I guess that was the choice. I didn't think of that as a choice. Like, that's not... That seems a little inflective rather than reflective, but whatever. I needed a side of Velissa. She was right. We only got involved because it was in the alliance with Mazeo. If we maintained our independence, Valenorth would be safe and sound. Actually, I don't agree with that at all. Personally, I don't agree with that at all, but the audience decided, so... I'm like, no, like, I agree with the rabbit guy. Not only that, but our culture and our hierarchy are important too. I disagree with that too. There'd be no place for seers and scribes in the rest of the Celestia. I'm looking after my own power. That's what I'm doing. As a seer, I'm voting, yeah, I vote for the person who thinks seers are important. Right, Valessa? You're with me. After this was all said and done, Valinor remained strong and free.
Yes, I knew we were on the same page. I can't thank you enough for this, really. I was so scared we'd lose Valinor.
We still might, because we haven't gotten done with the fights yet. She practically runs toward me and hugs me. Fontaine rolls his eyes and looks elsewhere. I'm unsure if it was because of my choice or the hug.
Hey, Fortum even gets a promotion too. As your scribe, he can fill the gap I'm leaving. Oh, man, my head is so full of ideas right now.
Just don't blow it up.
I'll have to discuss things with Dominic more in depth. Oh, this is so cool. When we meet him, it'll be a meeting of nations. Since I'm our envoy, I'll work on sounding as professional as I can. So, Dominic, it's a pleasure to meet you. No, wait, that sounds stupid. Sir Dominic?
Oh, she's still coming with us? Okay, so why?
Hey, Valessa, calm down for a second. This means I get to replace you as the scribe? You'll have to give me some last-minute training, you know.
Oh, right. I guess you are a little rusty. No worries. I'll take good care of you. Things will go swimmingly. Trust me.
Actually, if you think about it, like you said, well, if Valessa goes back to Valinor, and then we know what happens. Well, that vision I had, doesn't make much sense because we met the axe bear guy earlier, but it also could have happened if I picked the bunny guy, because Valessa said she is my seer in the vision. So I don't know if that means that, I don't know how the rules work, really. I can't really, I don't have the information to really speculate. But globalism sucks. I believe in interdependence. I don't believe in just handing out okay, here I guess we're going to politics now. I don't believe in handing out everything to somebody just to give them a leg up, or just to I don't believe in handing out everything. Don't overextend yourself. But you don't want to be too independent either, because if you're too independent, then you're only relying on yourself and your own resources. Help out others when you can, and in turn they'll help you out if you need help, and that's the most important thing. I think that sort of is more of a thing than that. It's sort of interdependence rather than independence or complete dependence, right? You want people to be able to make their own decisions and make their own choices, but at the same time not quite get in there. Anyways, let's get back to the story. I'm going on rambling. It's been a long day. It's clear that she's jubilant. I don't think I've seen her this excited in a while. This would change the entire way she approached our journey.
And I just want to thank you even more, Seer. You decided to keep Peregrino the way it is. I'm grateful. That's a huge step towards our continued independence.
Well, it seems like we have our work cut out for us. I'm a little upset that you didn't pick me, but I'll get over it. At the end of the day, I'm not just tagging along anymore. The position of Elder has only been open for a day, but I've been training to become a scribe for my entire life. Maybe, in this case, things worked out for the best.
He gives me a wild smile before walking towards the door. Before he leaves, he turns back and looks at the both of us.
You coming, Valessa?
Oh, sure. Just give me a few more minutes. I have a few more things to talk about.
Fair enough. Good night.
After he leaves, Valessa lets out a loud sigh. She presses her back against the wall and closes her eyes.
For once, the future doesn't seem so uncertain. I'm sure I'll be put in a lot of complicated situations, Sarah. Your wisdom is just as important to Valinor's future as I am. Remember how you went to my list today, instead of telling me? If your visions involve my leadership, or Valinor's safety, please come to me. Otherwise, I'll train Fortune to take good care of you. He's in good hands.
She exits the room with that, and I can only describe this utmost confidence. Her posture, her steps, it all displayed something like a newborn resolve. And for good reason, too. We just decided the direction of our nation's future. I made my way back to bed and practically collapse on it. Hopefully I'll get to sleep I'll get enough sleep for our journey to the Outlook. Surrendering to heavy eyelids, I lose myself to the night. It isn't much longer before I fall asleep. But much to my dismay, I'd get no rest that night. For the Fates had something else in store. Ooh, a store. Let's go to a Fate store. Fate store. Excellent. Fate store. Whoa, don't crash, please. No. No. Did it crash? Am I still on? No. Am I on? You guys still there? No. Man. Oh, there it goes. Well. That was a thing. Alright, hold on. Let me go back to live. That was weird. Man, tonight's been weird. We're back, though. I was dark for a while. Like, it was loading. Must be the Fates really did have something else in store for me tonight. Crazy. It's like the Fates are like, I'm loading. Please wait. So if you guys can hear me now, we're going to continue. Before I can even comprehend what happened, I'd whisked away from Peregrino. This isn't a vision. Those don't happen as so fast after falling asleep. This is different. I rub my eyes and try to take in more of my surroundings. Where am I? It's so dark. With architecture unlike anything I've ever seen. There's nobody here. I'm all by myself. Except for that. At the end of the room, it pulsates. It grows. As I look at it, I feel something burn deep inside of me. Not in a bad way, no. This is more like a burning desire. It's calling out to me. It wants me to get closer. Click the idol to walk toward it. Don't walk to the light, Carol Ann! So we're going to save. And we're going to pick slot 2. Oop. Hey guys, who's saying hi guys? Hey Nova! How's it going this week? I take one step forward, keeping my eyes on the mysterious object. As soon as my foot lands on the ground, pain courses through my entire body. I'm brought to my knees. It's almost as if it's slowly draining my energy. When it subdues, I stand back up, but the desire hasn't gone away. I need to get closer. I need to know exactly what that thing is. My burning curiosity trumps any care for my own well-being. Even though I object to such a mindset, I keep moving forward. It's almost like my body is moving on its own, without my input. Step towards the idol once more. I take another step, and the pain returns to my body, but this time it's worse. I'm brought to my knees, and I can't get back up. It's tearing me apart, Lisa. Sorry. I pant heavily, unable to move as it continues to harm my spirit.
Stop.
Stop. In our name. I immediately fall to the ground as I hear the voice from behind me. But it's not a bad thing as I regain full control over my body. Whatever was controlling me, they had put a stop to it. I turned around and take steps toward them, grateful. I could tell the farther away from the object I was, the better. But when I reach this mysterious person, I'm not prepared for what I see.
It's almost instinctual now. Interesting. Sorry for not being here right away. I didn't know you'd come so fast. That means things have slowed down on your end. I see.
That's what she said. No. The triumvirate. I can tell right away. Or at least one of them. Since I only see one cloak before me. I start to panic and reach for the blade of Exodus.
No.
They wave their hand forward and I can no longer move. Letting out a chuckle, they start walking toward me.
So you remain pure, even now. Interesting. I expected to see the seeds of corruption within you. Is it possible you know? No. That can't be right. There is no way to discern the consequences of your actions. You act instinctively, much like before. You do what you think is right. But what is right, and what is pure, well, those are two different things.
They strike a pose as if they're lost in thought.
You know who I am, or at least, what I belong to. I speak not for the triumvirate, but of my own accord. Not that this would go against the wishes of my subordinates.
Subordinates? Does that mean I'm in the presence of the triumvirate's leader?
That power within you is a truly wonderful thing. So much strength, gifted to you by the realm of spirits. But you have to ask yourself, is it truly a gift? Do you act in Alestia's best interests, or in the spirits? Until now, everyone in Valinor assumed the two aligned. But things are changing. They're starting to make a push.
Oh man, they're gonna have a baby? I strain myself, trying to move, but to no avail. Whatever they've done, they've taken over control of my body.
What purpose is your journey if it ends in complete corruption? Keep that in mind as you stride forward, and make those tough choices. Many of them breed corruption. The pursuit of strength, for example. Before you go, I did call you here for one purpose.
They motion to the idol in the back of the room before waving their arm. As the ability to move returns to my body, I stumble, failing to balance myself. How is it possible to do this? How can they manipulate spiritual energy without the blade? I regain my balance and immediately look back towards the idol.
It's beautiful, isn't it? There's never been a more pure form of corruption. You seek to dethrone us. Isn't that your goal? In that case, remember one thing.
They tilt their head, and though I can't see their face, I assume they're smiling. With a final wave of their hand, I collapse to the ground, and my vision fades away.
The only thing that can destroy pure corruption is purity itself, embodied.
I hear their words, but I seem to exist in a void of nothingness. I don't understand what just happened. I'm only left with a multitude of questions. My actions can influence the purity or corruption of the power inside me? That doesn't make any sense, but then again, maybe that's what they wanted. They'd want to confuse me, to try and push me down a different path. Of course, they'd want to scare me away from decisions that would harm their reign. Or would they? Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Almost immediately, I find myself back in Perugino. I got no sleep. And thanks to what just happened, I doubt I would any other night. The lingering fright that made that happen again was almost crippling. The sun rises through the window, illuminating the room. I can see how covered in dust everything is. Overnight patrons must be rare. I stand up and stretch. I got a long yawn. That was great timing. As I do, there's a knock on the door. Come in. Come. That says what was it Patrick Stewart would say. Come. Without hesitation, the door swings open, and a few moments later, Bless and Fontaine enter, displaying a level of energy that makes me envious. It must be time to leave. As soon as we walk out the door, our journey would begin.
Hey, Seer. Good morning. We all slept in a bit late, so we're skipping breakfast. Ulrich's orders, so there's no point in fighting it, right?
Yeah, but our next stop is Mazeo. As soon as we get there, I'll buy us all apples. Man, it's been way too long since I've had those.
There's no apples in our forest? What is wrong with you, Valinor?
A one-track mind as usual. But, to be honest, it does sound tasty. Hopefully they aren't too expensive. So, are you ready to go? Ulrich and Pro are waiting out front. I guess the outlook is pretty close to Peregrino.
I'm good. Unless there's something else we need to do.
They both look at me. I guess it's my choice. It might be a good chance to get some private time with my friends, but Ulrich and Pro could get impatient if we waste time chatting in Peregrino. Either way, I know one thing is for certain. I shouldn't tell them what happened. The Triumvirate taking me into their chambers and personally? Would they even believe me? They're frickin' scribes. It's their job to believe me. Me? Come on. I should let it process for a bit longer and see what happens before telling anybody. No, you probably shouldn't. Me. I pause and they await my next move. Purity and corruption. Over the course of the game, you will make many important decisions. These will increase a background stat known as purity and corruption, a representation of how you carry yourself in the world. It also determines the nature of the power within and your values as a leader. You can keep track of the numbers on the save screen. Choices will not be marked by their alignment. Choices will not be marked by their alignment. Think carefully before making important decisions. You won't know their true nature until afterwards. Icons are placed in the game world after important choices. Icons are placed in the game world after important choices. These will help you learn about what's changed and reflect on your choices. Dialogue and key plot events will change depending on your alignment. The party banter is affected by choice. Did you keep the parameters down? Yep, we saw that earlier. You chose to keep program intact, remaining as the tavern. Yep, okay. Good to continue. Okay, so the shield means purity, right? And then the other one means corruption. You now have access to heart-to-heart conversations. These are assessed just like regular one-on-one conversations, but marked by a heart. Each character has a personal plot that spans the entirety of your adventure. Make sure to access these important conversations as soon as you can. These conversations can only be played once, and your decisions are 100% final. They will impact your relationship with the character as well as their personal journey. Access enough heart-to-heart conversations with a specific character to unlock a special quest. These quests will earn your comrade unwavering loyalty, and if you wish, even something more. Oh my. These conversations cannot be done out of order. You must complete all preceding heart-to-hearts in order for them to do the next. These are key to solidifying your friendships and preferring romantic relationships. Woo! Any other tutorials? So, do I get to do both heart-to-hearts, or do I have to choose one? Let's save. You can do both? Okay. Access Fontaine Heart-to-Heart 1. Yes. It looks like something is bothering Fontaine. I approach him and ask him what's on his mind. He seems a little startled, like he was indeed lost in thought.
Oh, hey there, Seer. What's wrong? Nothing, really. I'm just thinking about, well, everything. I got a good sleep last night, so that helped. Better than being restless and alone with my thoughts. I'm just thinking about the future a lot right now. Most importantly, it's Valinor's future that concerns me. We know what Valesso wants to do as Elder, but I'm worried. I've read that nations fall due to a leader's stubborn nature. I'd rather see Valinor live alongside the other nations. It's a lot preferable to the concept of dying alone. I think it's just time to turn some pages, you know?
Whoa, you're gonna die together or die alone? A whole lot of dying going on. He gives me a nervous laugh before shuffling awkwardly. There's something else on his mind, I can tell. But it's not my place to pry, so I wait for him to speak.
I know I look pretty well rested, but I'm not. This is pretty embarrassing for me to say, so don't laugh. Last night, I had a really bad dream. I almost cried. We were making our way down toward Mazeo, but we weren't with Pro and Ulrich. It was our parents. I kept telling them not to go. I knew they wouldn't come back.
He clenches his fist and trembles slightly.
But they didn't listen. They just kept going. I ran until my legs could barely move. Then I ran even more. It actually felt like I could save them. If I only tried.
Oh, you're in Charlotte. You're not in Charleston. Oh, that's good. I was worried for you. I was like, is he in Charleston? Because I know there's a hurricane out there. Well, Charlotte's different than Charleston. It might be more inland, and if it's more inland, then he was fine. Then he was like Alabama, perfectly okay. And I am willing to admit when I make a mistake. If I messed up what city he's in. It's like, it's one of those C ones in South Carolina.
Eventually, we made it to the gates of Mazeo. Or at least I think they were. I've never actually been there. But this is the worst part. They finally turned to face us. And that's when I realized something shocking. I don't remember what my parents looked like, Seer. Their faces were a blur, almost like they were nobody. They started to speak, but I didn't recognize their voices. Has it been so long that I'm forgetting my own parents? I tried so hard to picture them when I woke up. I couldn't. When they died, everyone told me they weren't really gone. That they'd live on forever, inside of my memory. But even that's fading, Seer. What happens next? Back at the Grand Tree, I said I wanted vengeance. I wanted to take down the Triumvirate to avenge our parents. But this dream was kind of like a wake-up call, you know? Why should I fight for something that doesn't exist? And better yet, something I can't even picture in my head. There are so many reasons to fight, all of them less selfish.
So interestingly, like, I think this dream might have been an impact of him not being the leader, because I think that's actually a good point, and that's actually a good narrative thing too. Because if you think about it, like, the reason he wants to have Valinor, connect with the outside world is because he himself, I mean, we all came from Mazeo, right? And we kind of ran away to Valinor. But, like, he was so in tune with the idea of, like, getting revenge for his parents that it might have been, like, if he had become the leader of Valinor, he might have, like, just kept on pushing for that vengeance, right? Which, that might be why the decision not to make him leader was the less, quote-unquote, corrupt one. I don't know. Interesting thought.
So, I think I want to fight for you. I want to make sure that you're safe and you survive this. When it comes to you, The entirety of Alestia is at stake.
He continues to tremble, and I can tell he's fighting back tears. It's almost like this dream is helping him move on from his parents. He's become more grounded in reality, in the here and now. What should I do? I know there's two choices. I would console him for sure. I think that's one of the choices. Let him find inner strength or hug and console him. What do you guys think? This seems like it's an important decision. Oh, there's two hugs already. I think I know where this is going. They're the hug thugs. I think 3 answers in the positive is gonna get that one. So let's hug. I take a few steps forward and wrap my arms around him. He gasps in surprise, and I notice his trembling come to a halt. A few moments later, I feel his arms return the hug, squeezing tight.
I just miss them so much.
You miss what? You said you were forgetting them. Wait, shh, I'm hugging right now. He sniffles softly, like he overcame his imminent fears.
At the end of the dream,
Tears?
when they turned back, I ran toward them and tried to hug them one more time. But I didn't feel anything when I did, and the dream ended. But right now, I'm definitely feeling something. And I know this won't end. I know you're not going anywhere.
He hugs me tighter, and I do as well.
This is what I need to fight for. The things that are right in front of me. The things that matter. And the things I cherish.
I nod and let our embrace continue. It seems to last forever, but I don't mind. I let it last as long as it needed to for Fontaine. Alright, so we got the Fontaine one down. So we're going to save. Oh, quick save. Access Valessa heart to 1. Valessa is walking from one end of the room to the other. She looks annoyed. Did you just hug Fontaine? What is wrong with you? Could be any number of things, but I decide to talk to her and figure things out. As soon as I approach her, she stops in her tracks and lets out an exasperated sigh.
You know, I thought things would be different. If you made me the elder, I'd have a big game plan. And I thought I did. But I realized how little I know. Obviously, keeping our independence is important, right? But I've realized that's actually kind of insignificant. Our problems are here in the present, not out in the future. Maintaining our identity is a plan for the future. If Valinor succumbs to the cold, there'll be nothing left to maintain. I still believe we need our independence, but that can't happen for a while. So, against my better judgment, alliances might be necessary. I doubt we can find a way to save Valinor all on our own. We'll require knowledge from all corners of Alestia.
So you're a waffler. You waffler. I voted for you. I trusted you to do the things that you said you were going to do in your campaign speeches. And here you go going, oh, I guess I had to do the things I said I was going to do in my campaign speech. You liar. You betrayed me, Valessa. You're tearing me apart, Valessa. Why? No, I'm just kidding. I'm fine with that.
So that might make things a bit tricky. Rebuilding a nation that wants nothing to do with you. Who'd help me if I planned to give nothing in return? Sorry for rambling on. It's just a lot to take in. But being able to talk about it definitely helps. Thanks, Seer. At the end of the day, being able to confide in you is great.
I'm not saying a dang thing. Alright, so I'm blocking the viewers right now. You guys can vote on whatever's up there. The closest thing I would say at this moment in time is like anytime Valessa or something like that. Anytime you need help, let me know. I'm glad to help anytime you need it. I think that's the closest to what I said. Of course, we'll handle everything together. Finding interesting is also great, Valessa. I'm glad I can help you anytime. You're a seer without a cause. Right? I know, right? Alright, guys, so you guys go ahead and vote. I have my vote. My vote is locked in as I'm glad to help anytime you need it, because that is about what I said. Blindly. Golden Bonnie's going to go the full enchilada with the... We're going to handle everything together. We have Ramir saying, I'm glad to help anytime you need it. Anytime you want it. If you need me, call me. I'm going to get another strike. No. Stop doing cover songs. I'm in a singy song mood tonight. We'll call this the bar. We're still in the Perugino. We'll call this the Perugino musical. We're still in the bar. We haven't left the bar yet. It's already been almost an hour, guys. Oh man, this game's gonna be a long one. The original Major Minor took like 10 episodes, and I think back then, I think the episodes were a little longer back then. Well, they weren't longer. I'm going longer and longer more often. I'd usually go into 11:30 or midnight sometimes when we went to the other things. So, I noticed my streaming sessions have been a little bit longer. And back then, the other one took 10 episodes. I think they were 2-hour sessions back then, I think I remember doing. And I remember there was one whole 2-hour set. There was the Major Minor thing that I will let go. There was that one session we did that had no choices whatsoever, and it was literally just a visual. It was literally a visual novel in the most bare sense. We haven't had that issue yet, and I don't think we're going to because of the whole things. I do really like the branching things. We've been kind of exhausting the branches in this game, but I'm glad you need it going once. Glad you need it going twice.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I truly do. It's always good when someone has your back. Venting helps, as inconvenient as it's known to be.
Yeah, I vent too.
I'm glad you don't mind, because we're dealing with pretty big issues. If I can trust you with this kind of stuff, I can trust you with anything. Which is great, because something tells me there's a lot more to come.
It's hard to get a read on her next expression, but she shuffles about some more. Taking a few steps away from me, she rests her back against the wall. I step closer to her, inching ourselves away from Fontaine.
What am I going to do? I want Valinor's independence, but I can't get it alone. As we travel the world, I'll need help wherever I can get it. Connecting our nation with the spirits isn't something I can do alone.
Let's be independent together, as one elven dentist said in a claymation Christmas special.
I have no idea how I'll get it done, though. Like I said, I'll need help from the outside world. What an odd idea. Alliances to achieve independence?
Right? Let's be independent together, huh?
No, people would just think I'm using them. In order to do this efficiently, I'd have to keep it a secret. Glean information wherever I can without telling anybody why. A book here, a conversation there, until I find a solution. At the end of the day, nobody would know what I was up to. But when our journey is over, I have the means to save Valinor.
People will think I'm using them. Let me sneak information as much as I can. And she is a crazy one.
That sounds so unethical. But is it really? If it saves our nation? What do you think about all of this, Seer?
I think you should just I'm doing this blind. I saw that there was 2 choices. So there's probably not a lot of leeway here. So you guys can vote on it while I think of what I would say in this case. I would say we should help them, we should have allies to help one another, but we shouldn't depend on them too much for our own safety. I think that's sort of too wishy-washy for a particular pointed answer, but we'll see. What are the two choices? Be honest about what you're doing, Valessa. It's a good idea to keep it a secret from everybody. I was going to say be honest about what you're doing. Be honest, be honest. Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so... Copyright strike. No! Come on, YouTube. You're not giving me any honesty. Honesty.
Yeah, I guess you're right. If I got caught, things would go wrong. Don't want to harm our chances of saving the world. Can you imagine if somebody did that to us? Helping us out, only to use us for information? I feel bad for suggesting it, but dire times, you know? Thanks for giving me your advice here. It's good to have some direction. I was feeling lost. I'm glad to know we can keep working together like this.
Alright, got another big choice here. So I put my hand up. We'll get Alestia through this situation together, blah blah blah, right? Alright, we can do more than just work together. Oh my goodness. Why would I say that? That's just don't bother me too much, alright? I have a job to do. Of course, the circumstances require it now more than ever. Obviously, I know what decision I would make here. None of them were really close to what I said. Well, I guess the middle one sort of is, but... Oh my, Bonnie's like... You're afraid to make any pop culture references? The songs I've been referencing are hardly pop culture. They're like older than I am, most of them anyway. By the way, Golden Bonnie, just so you realize, the word work is the thing in italics there. It's not together like the last one was. It's more like, we can do more than just work together. Ooh, yeah, exactly. It's like, so we have one, and one, of course. Bonnie's like, I know. I like the Ranger Bow lady. I need to hit on it. It's the romance path. I am not, music, I know pop music, or I know music that I know music, but it's sort of like one of those things where it's like I'm aware of songs, but I don't like. I wouldn't be able to like tell you like specific musical history, like what year the Beatles were founded, or like I'm bad with like dates. I know like what era they were in. All right, so we have one, of course, and one we can do more than just work together. And, of course, the circumstances are required now more than ever. Going once. Going twice. I think this is going in too hot. I don't think she's one that would react too well to going in too hot. So, for two reasons, I'm picking this one.
And I'm glad we can rise to the challenge. That's good. Something tells me there'll be more challenges to come. But as long as we band together and talk it out, we can do this.
Yeah, don't secretly look for information from you, Alessa. With a wide smile, I can sense the newfound determination within her. Something is there. Something that wasn't there the moment we began talking.
Let's get things moving, alright? Like I said, I have a better sense of direction now. Or at the very least, my mind is more clear. That's all I needed.
Wait, hold on. You said... Wait, when did you... Hey, Pawsry the Wolf. So, Ganovo, I didn't see you making a suggestion. You voted on this? You said, ooh. And then, but I'm sure you're well versed in music. I know I gotta see it. Oh, okay. You didn't vote. If you wanted to see it, Ganovo, you should have voted, because then I would have picked it. Letting out a sigh, she starts to walk away. I'm guessing I decided to reach... I'm glad I decided to reach out to her like this. A clouded mind could affect her performance. If we wanted to win this, everyone would need to be restitute. I shouldn't miss any opportunity to bond with my friends and comrades. Their survival and future would directly relate to their morale. Alright, so we did both of those. So I don't think I really changed too much, so I will overwrite, because this is one session. If I look back at this later, I'll probably do a whole bunch of things there. Oh, yeah, I didn't see the word together, though. So, I didn't see your vote. So, oh, we misstepped. We misstepped. Oh, well. Alright, so we're back out here. Oh, there's another... Is this like a... This goes back to the room? Ah, okay. And that goes out of the room. And then... Is that something in here?
What are these shields here for?
Mostly for design, I'm assuming.
Actually, I've asked Aaron about those. They were used during the raid on the Triumvirate. You know, the one where they stole the Blade of Exodus?
So it's in memoriam then?
Something like that, yeah. And he said something about the fire in our hearts. Though I'm guessing that's related to the fireplace.
The man has a reason for everything, I guess. It seems a lot of thought was put into this tavern.
Tavern? Isn't it a bar? I've heard quite a few people call it Peregrino Bar. In fact, they even started calling it PB for short.
PB, and speaking of PB, I've noticed that we haven't had any characters like these characters are completely separate from Major Minor. The stories are completely separate, but that gear blade, like the blade, seems to be the thing that ties them together.
What an odd name.
So that's what it stands for. Achievement unlocked. So that's what it stands for. Wait. What are you doing, man? So if you guys don't recall, PB was the name of a pink bunny character in Major Minor. And he was the tenant, I believe, like he was sort of a barkeep. He was like friends with some other character in that bar. I can't quite remember the details. So it's an Easter egg, but yeah, but I got an achievement for that, so that's what that name means. So I guess PB stood for Peregrino Bar. Is there anyone with initials here?
There's so much to choose from.
Don't tell me you're planning on drinking for Tim.
Why not?
We have a lot of stuff to do.
But it looks so delicious.
Trust me, it's probably not as tasty as you think. From what I've heard, it's just bitter, and it burns.
Sure, from what you've heard. You don't have to keep secrets from me, Valessa.
What are you talking about? I've never had any alcohol, I swear.
Don't worry, I believe you.
If you're gonna go back and look for PB, he's probably in the Major Minor episodes. I think he's around episodes 4 and maybe 8. I remember there was the first part when you're introduced to them in the bar near the beginning, and then like close to the end, and up to the end, like they revisited that same area.
Seriously?
Aren't you two a little young to be drinking?
Nope, Valessa is just being a spoilsport.
I am not.
Let's have some then.
Well, maybe.
We're gonna have a drink?
Ah yes, peer pressure.
Just say no. Then you watch the drug PSAs. Just say no.
Wait, are these?
They're mugs. Fontaine quickly turns to the table and grabs an apple. After a large bite and barely any chewing, he swallows. A look of disappointment appears on his face shortly after.
Of course they aren't. What's wrong with those? Last time I checked, they were pretty tasty. I was hoping it was a special kind of apple. My parents used to bring me some from Mazeo all the time, but the trading ban made it illegal to export them. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. They sell them like crazy in the markets of Mazeo. Really? You need to take me there, Pro. We can make a brief detour, right?
He looks to Ulrich with pleading eyes.
Maybe.
Good enough for me.
Maybe is good enough for me. Alright, we are outside again, and we can do the map. Outlook. You elected Valessa as the leader of Valinor. Okay, so it does tell you after you make a decision. What this... Oh my goodness, guys. So, here's the thing. Here's 2 decisions. 3 decisions, 4 decisions, 5 decisions, 6 decisions, 7 decisions, 8 decisions, 9 decisions, 10 decisions, 11 decisions, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25 decisions? Oof. Ah, 1,000 discussions from cons. Alright, so we have Perugino. So let's go back to Valinor Village. Oh no, actually let's not do that for right now. Let's save before we do that. Because that's not checked. Or maybe it's a sub-map. Gotcha. Outlook. After a trek that was longer than expected, we finally reached the Outlook. There was a long uphill walk, so my legs were strained and tired. That, along with my lack of sleep, was an unfortunate combination.
Well, here we are. Zamira told me you've never been. Take a look down there. What do you think?
Without a soft laugh, I anticipated our reaction. After a few more steps, we reach the high ground and everything comes into view. The scope of our world, and just how small Valinor really was, finally dawned upon me.
Whoa.
That's amazing.
They stop to catch their breath as they run up the hill in excitement. We can see the entirety of Mazeo, as it looks tiny from up here. Yeah, that's what I thought that was. I was about to ask if that little harbor in that Perth over there was Mazeo. But I know it's much larger than Valinor, so this is hard to comprehend.
That's Mazeo?
Yeah, we can probably reach it in a few more hours. But take a while to enjoy the view. It's really something else. And it's not like we'll be coming back here anytime soon, right?
Yeah.
Pro takes a few steps forward, writing in some kind of journal. He watches Ulrich, not even needing to stare at the paper as he wrote.
And so, Ulrich stood at the entrance of the world, enthralled by its beauty. It would seem that his dreams for the future were no less grand than the sight before him. With comrades in tow, they took in the sight together, an unspoken bond slowly forming.
Oh great, we have our narrator. Ba da 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 da.
The bond won't last much longer if you keep that up, Pro.
Yikes. It's not like this is my job or anything. You know I'm trying to record all the important moments.
You must be grasping at straws if you're writing about me then. Focus on the seer or something. This is the start of his journey.
Da, 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 da.
Or maybe you could focus on this. Huh?
We all turn to Fontaine, and he's holding out his hands. Inside of the cup he's formed with them rests a single crimson leaf. A breeze flows through the area, sending a chill through all of us. Immediately we turn toward Valnorth in all of what we see. The blood leaves are falling, making their journey through the sky. Carried by the chilling winds, they find their way down to the mainland.
Wow.
This shouldn't be happening, right? The blood leaves don't fall at this time of year.
He's right, everyone. Normally it's too warm for them to wilt and fall. I know what this means. Valinor is starting to die.
You mean because of the dim spirit idol?
Yeah, I didn't think it would happen so fast. We need to hurry. If we don't do something, our home will...
Ulrich steps forward and rests a hand on Valessa's shoulders.
Don't worry. We'll figure out a way to save your village. We are saving Alestia, and that includes Valinor.
His voice sort of reminds me of Chakotay from frickin' Voyager. I don't know why. Doesn't it? I know it's not the same person, but... She nods, and we turn back to stare down on the mainland. For a moment, the falling of the blood leaves was a more beautiful sight. But was this a blessing or perhaps a portend of bad things to come? Pro remains silent, but he continues writing in his notebook. Surely this would give him enough material to keep him busy for a while. I look at Valessa and Fontaine, and they give me a nervous smile.
Are you ready, Seer? I guess this is where things truly begin.
Da, 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 da. I'm just thinking about that because of the birds in the background there. Yeah, let's do this. I'm not ready, but I'll manage. Maybe the echoes that is the first officer. Is Robert Bertain the voice or the actor that plays Chakotay? I'm not good with actor names, unfortunately. Particularly of like obviously if they've been in like one or two things, like I might know their name. Night of the Comet. Yeah, let's do this.
As a team, we can do this. I'm stronger for having you by my side.
Ulrich takes a few steps back, letting us have our moment. He knew how important this was to the three of us. It was probably the biggest moment of our lives.
So, this is it, huh?
She let go of the blood leaves she held in her hand. The gust of wind from behind helps them sail down to Mazeo.
Now, it's our turn.
I noticed Fontaine wipe his eyes with his forearm. Was he crying? It's probably best not to point it out, as I don't want to embarrass him. He clenches his fist and looks to the sky with closed eyes.
I wish you could be here with us. Don't worry, Mom and Dad. I'll make you proud.
He turns to us and smiles. Ulrich can tell that the moment is over. Without saying anything, he starts walking down the outlook. From what I can see, a trail takes us all the way to Mazeo. This is it. This was the moment our journey began. 3 episodes in, and what is it? We at 7 hours now? It only took us 7 hours, but our journey's beginning now, guys. Welcome to the stream. How are you guys doing tonight? It's almost as if we just started.
As a group, we headed down to Mazeo, with our resolve peaked. In that moment, it seemed like our goal was both clear and within our grasp. However, Mazeo would soon prove how wrong and naive we truly were.
Prose journal. See, it's prose. You witty mother effer. I get it. I get it. I'm sad that it took me so long to get it, but I get it. Ha. 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 See, he's good at prose. He's a pro at prose. Or did I make that joke yesterday and I didn't get it when I said that? Maybe I did remember that joke. Alright. Triumvirate 1. Parallel Chronicle. The triumvirate gathered in their chambers, nearing the glowing idol. With a faint smile on their faces, they gazed deep into its corruption. As nobody else was in sight, they had no need to keep up appearances.
It appears that things have finally begun. Did you have your audience with the seer, Master? Yes, indeed. It went just as planned. Doubt is a very powerful weapon.
You know so is like purity corruption and corruption's purity? Like am I making the bad decisions and like everyone it's like no, these are the right decisions. I like that. It's ambiguous. I do like that. That is very interesting.
When wielded properly, you are right. Thankfully, we have lots of practice.
You know the funny thing about the triumvirate is though is all I can think of is like the evil characters from that YouTube series on bad writing advice.
Perhaps too much? Or at the very least, not enough. But we've waited longer in the past.
One of the triumvirates lowers their hood. Taking a deep breath, they sigh in relief.
So, you think this is the end?
The other triumvirate follows in turn, lowering his hood. However, their master chooses not to do the same.
I suppose that rests with the seer. Let us watch and see what unfolds.
You know what's going to be funny is if the triumvirate end up being the characters from the other story. That'd be funny. That'd be an interesting twist. I doubt it, though. They're probably super sponsors. So I'm wondering, like, if I go here, is there any additional... I'm just gonna, like, do a quick scan. I don't think there's gonna be, like, any additional, like, story points or anything. It doesn't make any sense otherwise. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's kind of interesting that they keep all that stuff and they go, oh, you can explore new areas and that. But I think what they're doing is, like, it doesn't make sense for people to go back all the way there. Like maybe East Crown? Yeah, nothing here. Alright, let's go back to the Outlook. And let's go to Mazeo. Welcome to Mazeo! Mountain Pass. As we take our first steps away from Valinor, I make note of my surroundings. Not much has changed, yet in my heart I can feel an indiscernible difference. Crimson leaves litter the ground, remnants of the early spectacle.
Wow, they look pretty cool, huh?
It was definitely a nice send-off. I just hope the Mazeans aren't afraid.
Why would they be afraid?
You retain knowledge from the books you have read. Many Alestians see it as an ill omen.
Really? But they're just leaves.
So reading's good for you. As I said, I'm gonna read as many books as I can, but basically I'm not gonna let the narrative go because they're all voice acted. So I'll probably just go like blah blah blah, and like if you want to read the whole thing, you can buy the game, I guess.
You know how superstitious people can be.
I was taught that they're tears from the spirit realm. You know, the spirits crying out. But I don't know why. Perhaps our parents were reaching out to us.
Case in point, Pro.
Fair enough. Anyway, there was something I had to say. Don't you think it's a little odd to walk around like that?
He looks up at me, giving me the up and down. I don't know what he's talking about, and I'm confused. Like I'm blocking the decisions here. So to walk around like that. So what I'm gonna say is what's wrong with the way I walk? What are you talking about? Yeah, that's basically what I said. You're no looker yourself, Pro. You can do my wardrobe if you like. You mean without holding your hand? You're right. Mind your own business. What are you talking about? Alright, so voting time. Apparently he doesn't like how I'm dressed. How am I dressed? Like I had some sort of uniform like that they gave me. You're no looker yourself, Pro. Oh, we got Golden Bonnie being sassy. Golden Bonnie chooses the sassy route. Holding your hand, says Canova. What are you talking about? So we got two what are you talking about? Interesting questions. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, man. It's like, are you hitting on me, man? Like, what? Looking like what? It's about the sword being in the open, I think. Yeah, that's what I would think, too. That's what I think he's talking about, but... Holding hand. Oh, Strangelove! Oh, look at that. The Strangelove made it... Strangelove made it awkward. Great. Alright, so... Holding hand, going once. Holding hand, going twice. Oh boy, Pro. Hitting on the narrator, guys. Come on. You mean without holding your hand? You're right.
What? No, that's not what I meant at all. I'm talking about the Blade of Exodus, you know? We need to cover it up so nobody sees it.
Yeah, of course. My sword.
That's actually a good idea. We don't know how many eyes will be on us. It might help us get past the gate guard as well.
Yeah, they wouldn't take kindly to seeing that. They're skeptical enough of travelers from Valinor.
Yeah, but you guys got weapons on your backs. I mean, or at least the other guy does. I think you have a dagger, Pro, and he's got like this big old frickin' broadsword on his back.
What? But we wouldn't do anything.
That's exactly the point.
People from Valinor would never harm Mazeo, true. But that's what makes it the perfect excuse for wrongdoers. Say you're from Valinor and get through without a second thought.
That's awful.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they're keen on that trick. They'll end up questioning us no matter what we say.
So we need to cover up the blade.
Yeah.
I'll just make him more suspicious.
I guess it's a good thing I brought this then.
She holds up the cloth and wrapping the blade around. Wrapping the blade around the Grand 3. It's large enough they can wrap it around in a nice like a cloak. I'm positive that they'll ask what's underneath, but it's worth a try.
What do we do if they don't buy it?
Well, I'll
Then we'll
play
sell.
some of my patented charm.
We're doomed.
Rautain and Valessa share a quick laugh while Pro fumes. Ulrich crosses his arms and starts to come up with a plan.
There's still a long way to go, so let's walk and talk. We're losing time, and that's the one thing we can't afford to lose.
Immediately after, Valessa hands me the cloth from earlier. I know that many people in Mazeo were part of the rebellion, but not everybody. The gate guards must be an example of those not under Damic's thumb. At least yet.
All right.
I wrapped the cloak around my back and fashioned the top into a hood. The blade of Exodus, as well as my identity, was sufficiently masked. Oh, well, geez, cover your face. That makes you even more suspicious. Why would I do that? Keep your face out in the open. Keep the hood back, man. Just don't... Come on, man. Have you ever done a border crossing before? Like, I haven't even done a border crossing before, and I know that I'm looking way too suspicious for that. With the small hope that the facade will work, we continue towards Mazeo. Alright.
Hey,
What can you tell me about Mazeo?
there's not much to say that you don't already know. It's a trading hub, providing goods and services to Valinor and Alarenthia. But there's a large piracy scene, providing the more illicit goods and services. The occupation was supposed to make things better, but it didn't. It only created more laws to break, and they haven't even cracked down on them. The mayor has slowly defected to our side after realizing the Triumvirate's true intent. They only wanted the spirit idol hidden underneath Mazeo. We're sure of it. The introduction of law and order to the city of Mazeo
Dunk,
is
dunk.
justification enough for them. If they truly wanted to keep Mazeo in line, they'd be enforcing the laws they put in place.
What can you tell me about the mayor?
His name is Grizz, and he slowly defected to our side. He's a good ally to have, especially with the strings he can pull. I doubt our plans would have gotten this far without his assistance.
How long has he been charged of Mazeo?
He took part in the occupation, actually, and slowly realized he was wrong. So that would mean he's been in power for a little over 20 years. He was pretty distant at first, but we slowly got more in touch with him. As time passed, he realized he was being lied to. That's what the Triumvirate does. They tell you that you're getting what you want, but it's just a cover to use you. I guess he got fed up and realized that the rebellion could actually deliver.
Can he really be trusted?
I'd say so, yeah. This isn't a sudden defection or anything like that. It's been slowly happening over the last 20 years. I saw it all. He's truly sorry for what he's done, and now he wants redemption. I guess joining us will help him achieve that redemption. He's just in the unfortunate situation of playing both sides. He does work with the enemy, but his allegiance is with us. I know it.
What would the Triumvirate do if they found out?
They'd probably kill him. They don't really tolerate that. But it's not very often that somebody goes against their rule. They seem to have a sway over their subjects. It's hard to describe. Like, only now that he's away from them is his mind finally clear. As soon as they find out, I'm sure they'll make him a primary target. I'm willing to bet that they'll send Sophie and his apprentice to do the job.
Anything I should know before meeting him?
He's really big. He can be intimidating, but his heart is in the right place. You don't really get the politician vibe from him. He looks more like a warrior, but that's kind of the point. The Triumvirate wanted a ruthless man in charge. Just don't judge him based on his appearance, and you'll be fine. There's a friendly man underneath that hardened exterior, I promise. If it weren't for his efforts, the rebellion would barely be successful.
So the occupation didn't really make things better?
No, and why would it? It was just a front because they wanted the spirit idol. Mazeo remains largely the same. Attention was just diverted to different areas. For example, trade bans just made the pirates focus on different commodities. They talked a big talk, but they didn't follow through. It was all a lie. For example, the rebellion formed effortlessly under their watchful eyes. Under competent rulers, that never should have happened. See what I'm getting at?
Do you know for certain that they were only after the idol?
How else do you explain the huge underground expedition? If they weren't here, there'd be no tunnels at all. It seems to make sense. Thankfully, we found it first, so it's up to us to make the next move. I can't think of any other explanation, to be honest, so I'm definitely certain. The occupation of Mazeo was just a front for their true goal, the idol. However certain I am of that, I'm still clueless as to why they'd want it.
Where did the rebellion stay before the underground tunnels?
We had a deal in place with the owner of Mazeo's tavern. It's not unlike Peregrino, actually, almost existing as a front. But he didn't want to get caught, since things were coming to a head. So we decided to branch off and find ourselves a new home. That's when Domek set his eyes on the underground tunnels. He'd been going to them for a while, to gather his mind in peace.
Who was in charge of Mazeo before the occupation?
Nobody. That's what made the occupation such a good excuse. Before they took over, it was a no man's land. Everybody was free. That had both upsides and downsides. So they capitalized on the downsides. They promised the people a better future, and they just ate it up. Fast forward over 20 years, and they're starting to realize it was a lie. It's helped us get some last-minute recruits, but we can't count on any more of those.
What will happen to Mazeo after we take down the Triumvirate?
Honestly, I'm not sure. We need to think about that when the war is over. We could revert it to the way things were, or come up with a new form of government. I'm sure that whatever happens, though, we can't fully eliminate piracy. Even if we lifted all trading bans, they just continue business as normal. That's what my advice would be. We should legitimize them, put them to work. It's easy to punish them, but there's a whole industry we could tap into.
What's the current piracy scene like?
There are two pirate lords, Alex and Nada. They see eye to eye on most things, but disagree on others. Still, rather than fight each other, they've come to rule together. Some pirates prefer Alex, while others prefer Nada. It's not too complicated, but there's enough drama around piracy to deal with infighting, so they work together.
What can you tell me about Alex?
Piracy wasn't his first choice, but he really didn't have any say in the matter. None of the legitimate trading companies would hire him due to his troubled past. He basically takes whatever job he can get, living off of Nada's scraps. A lot of the local pirates follow after his ideals. He doesn't have delusions of grandeur. The goods he smuggles aren't too dangerous either. It's pretty close to an honest living. He just wants the trade bans lifted, to continue doing what he's doing and be accepted.
What can you tell me about Nada?
Now, she's a different story entirely. Nothing is off limits for her. She wants money and power. As long as the price is right, it doesn't matter what you want to smuggle, she's your girl. Her vision of the future is different than Alex's. One day she sees herself in charge of Mazeo. A lot of the pirates follow her because she promises them riches and power. Alex doesn't do that. He simply promises them a stable living with the hopes that one day it's made legal. But Nada doesn't care what's right or what's wrong, only about having the most power.
So I'm gonna guess that eventually, whenever we get rid of this mayor guy and have independence from the Triumvirate or whatever, I'm probably gonna have to choose between Nada and Alex, I'm sure.
I guess she thinks that if you have power, it doesn't matter what you do. While Alex wants to live an honest, legal life, Nada wants to be strong enough to do anything. If you have the whole world in your hand, much like the Triumvirate, no one will stop you.
Which pirate lord do you support, Ulrich?
I've never had to think about it, so I don't really have an answer. But I'd probably have to go with Alex. Nada is a bit too ruthless for me. If she was in power, people would be under her thumb, rather than free.
Does the rebellion have any local enemies?
Not really. Our previous leader ensured that we stayed well hidden. Not many of the townspeople knew what we were doing, but even if they found out, they sided with us anyway.
What can you tell me about the previous rebel leader?
His name was Salus, and he was a man of pure genius. I know we say that Domek is a good strategist, but Salus, he was incredible. If it weren't for him, you wouldn't even be wearing that blade on your back. To be honest, if we win this war, it'll all be thanks to him. We have some work ahead of us, but he made it all possible. Not to discredit what you need to do, of course, but you get the idea.
How do you keep your operations a secret from everybody?
It's not that hard to be secretive, especially when you have to be. We never slipped up, precisely because we couldn't afford to. It's also a bit easier with your key players hiding behind positions of power. By that, I mean nobody would question Grizz or the Elder of Valinor. So because of that, him and Salaz were able to meet and plan things without suspicion. Essentially, we had the perfect cover. After Salaz passed, we just exercised discretion.
Are you absolutely certain there's no spies within your ranks?
Yes.
I love it when he, like... And the funniest thing is when he gives those one-word responses. Like... Okay. If we were open with the locals, do you think they'd support us?
With the knowledge I currently possess, yes, I think they would. Over 20 years later, the Mazeans are starting to realize the Triumvirate was lying. They promised to turn Mazeo into a utopia. Just look around when we get there. It's not. Their words seem to mean a lot to people, even if their actions don't follow suit. In my opinion, it's only a matter of time before their promises fall on deaf ears. That is, if we don't take them down first. At least we'll be keeping our promises.
Anything else you want me to tell you? Anything else you want to tell me about yourself?
Depends what you're wanting to know. Just give me a try.
How old are you?
Old enough to be tired of answering that question.
What's your family like?
I consider Dalek and the Rebellion to be my family. If you mean my birth family in Alarenthia, I couldn't tell you. We weren't very close, and I left for the mainland as soon as I could.
Would you go back to Alarenthia if you needed to?
Depends how much you're paying me.
What can you tell me about your relationship with Savi?
There isn't much to say. He always pops in to mess up our plans. Every time we battle the Honor Guard, he's right there with them. The Triumvirate barely leaves their castle, so he's almost like a stand-in for them. Basically, anytime we're against enemy forces, he's there. But you learn a lot about the man and the way he fights, so I know a lot about him. I've never seen anybody with such strong conviction. He truly believes he's doing the right thing.
I started watching Deep Space Nine. Like, I watched the first few episodes, and I could see why people really like it as a thing. Because it's more... You do get more... It's kind of funny how a stationary platform gives you a lot more culture than the people traveling around in sort of isolation. Just kind of weird to think how ironic that is. Are you seeing anybody, Ulrich?
No, and I think I'd like to keep it that way.
Cool. What are your thoughts on everything so far?
Forgive me if I ask you to be more specific.
What do you think of Alessa?
I haven't been able to get a good read on her yet, which is rare for me. Normally I'm a good judge of character, but on her I'm drawing a blank. Not to say that's a bad thing. She carries herself admirably, but she's just closed off. At the end of the day, she won't cause me any concern, so that's a good thing. But I find myself wondering why she's so scared to open up. It's not like we'll hurt her. Some might say that's a personality trait on its own, but not me. I like to dig deeper.
Why? So it's weird to me, like, that I'm asking him what he thinks about the people I've known my whole life. Whereas, like, what do you think of Alessa? What do you think of Fontaine? You know, it's like more like you would ask Alessa, what do you think of the person I don't know that well, right? You'd be confiding in people you know more about people you don't know so much. Usually that's how it works. What do you think of Fontaine?
Honestly, he's a little much, energy-wise, I mean. I used to be like him when I was younger, but it's better to conserve your energy. If you waste it without thought like he does, you won't have it when you actually need it. And that's pretty much why I'm so calm all the time. I'm waiting to put my energy to good use. Normally that good use involves either a fight or some stiff drinks. You'll see. Once we get to Mazeo, there's a tavern that gets my highest recommendation.
What do you think of Pro?
We don't seem to get along, but he's actually one of my best friends. He just has this way of poking fun at everybody. It's his way of showing love. With a troubled past like his, I wouldn't be surprised if he thought that's what love is.
I want you to show me. What do you think of me?
You're good at following orders. I'll give you that much. I'm not sure if you're just clueless or full of national pride. Either way, it's a good thing. We can't have you full of doubt. It won't be much longer until you can kick back and relax. But when you do, it'll be as Alestia's hero. Think about that. You had a life of luxury just thrown into your lap. I'm jealous.
I have to survive it first. And no, this isn't luxury. I'm freaking winging it. Tell me about your hobbies, Ulrich.
Well, spare time is pretty scarce these days. But I love a good drink. Nothing better than winding down a busy day with some ale, right? Aside from that, I love a good spar, but it's hard to find a challenge.
What do you like to drink?
I'm not picky. I just like the effects. The stronger stuff is more expensive, though, and I'm not loaded. Well, unless Dominic decides to treat me, I guess. That's rare, though.
Any places in Mazeo you'd recommend?
There's a huge tavern tucked away in the town square. Best drinks money can buy, and like Peregrino, they have private rooms. Great business model, actually. When you've had too much, they can con you into a room. I'll point it out if I can. Might be a good idea to grab a drink before your training. Dominic has a strict regimen set out for you, but I'll make sure you have fun. Don't worry.
Maybe we can grab a drink together in our downtime.
Of course. Now you're starting to grow on me. I didn't know you were into that, but I need a good drinking buddy. You can only drink so much alone before it starts to get sad.
Is it true that you're undefeated in combat?
Yes.
You did it again. Grise 2. As Alex left his office, Grise sat in contemplation. It wasn't long before Lilith, his assistant, walked into the room. It was her duty to document and follow up with Grise after every meeting.
So, how'd it go?
Lilith sounds familiar.
As good as it could have, which isn't saying much.
What would you have me put on the record?
Negotiations to resume with more parties present. I think that about sums it up while I gather my bearings.
Very well. And what about off the record? What should I be expecting to come through that door?
Initially, I wanted them to sabotage the Triumvirate's ships, but that was very short-sighted of me. We'll need a naval army, so I tackled things from another angle, securing ships.
That shouldn't be too hard, right? The pirates have an enormous army.
Combined, yeah, but I can't win them all over. Alex and Nada will both be fighting to cut a deal with me, and I'm afraid no matter who we side with, things will change.
For who exactly?
Everybody. Lilith, can you send for Domek? He'll need to be present at the final negotiations.
Yep, we're going to end up having to choose
sir.
between the two pirates.
I have a feeling he'll be bringing the seer too, Lilith. With everybody under one roof, we can finally make some progress. At the end of the day, Mazeo and the Rebellion will be allied with the pirates.
Never thought I'd see the day. I guess we just have to choose who to side with.
That's why I need to see Domek as well. He'll be leading the final battle, so he needs to choose. I trust his decision and his sense of strategy more than you know.
Should he really be making choices that affect the future of Mazeo?
I think it's in our best interest. Besides, with what's coming, don't think I'll be here much longer. I only hope that we can leave behind a peaceful future for Mazeo.
So, about that charm.
Oh, hey, Dashing. What's going on? I see you're making videos again.
Yeah? When are you gonna start turning it on?
Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Fontaine. 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 Go, Fontaine.
It's been on this whole time.
Aww.
Oh boy.
Hey, what's that supposed to mean?
It means you think highly of your own ability. And if I'm not mistaken, it's a little too highly.
That's not true.
Oh really? Charm me then.
Oh.
You mean right now?
Yeah, right here, right now. Shouldn't be too hard for someone like yourself.
No, well, just let me think. It takes a bit to get in the groove.
Oh, what game you streaming there, Dashing?
Oh, is that so? Sounds like an excuse to me.
It's not!
Alright then, just hurry it up, bro. I'd tell you to take your time, but I don't want to die of old age.
I'm waiting. Oh, God. Man, Fossey's so sassy. So sassy. Alright, yeah, sure, we'll save it there. Main gate. A few hours later, we finally arrive at the gates of Mazeo. There's nobody in sight, save for one lonely gate guard. He stands there, kicking his foot back and forth. Slow day?
Oh, great! It's Carmen!
Who?
Basically, the one gate guard I'm comfortable with. Leave this one to me. We'll be in Mazeo before you know it.
He smirks and starts striding towards Carmen. Before he can get too far, Orlick grabs him by the shoulder. Holding him in place, protests squirming and trying to break free.
Hey! Let go! We don't have much time to waste!
There's another way.
Orlick glances over at Felissa, Fontaine, and I. I'm not sure what he meant by another way. Was there something we could do here?
Oh, come on! I had a whole routine worked out, Ulrich. Mine will work for sure. With them, it's a risk.
I just want to see how they handle this. Diplomacy will be really important moving forward. Shouldn't we let them get some practice?
I've had enough of the cryptic conversation and step forward. Asking them what they meant, I politely request an explanation. If there was something they needed to say, there was no point in hiding it.
The new Elder of Valinor.
Yeah.
He smiles and keeps his gaze set on all three of us. I'm starting to get the idea what they're talking about.
Lessa, come here.
She looks a bit startled at the sudden demand, but slowly steps forward. I could sense her apprehension at being put on the spot. I know that feeling.
What can I do for you, Ulrich?
This is your first time coming to Mazeo, right? The relationship between both
Super
of our
Animal Royale is
nations
pretty
is
good.
important. How we handle this situation could have a big impact.
Yeah, we can do I can add Super Animal Royale to the thing. The problem is it's like a multiplayer battle royale game, right? So it's not like it has any ending to it. So obviously it'd be like a one-off or kind of a thing. Might be a 1,000 subscriber celebration thing when we get there.
In what way?
Pro wants to lie his way in. That's what he does best. Not that it's a bad thing, of course. It usually works wonders. But at the end of the day, you are the Elder of Valinor. If you prefer, you can try talking to Carmen. See if you can reason with him and get our entry granted. Your role as the Elder can't stay hidden forever. What would the people think if someone like you was accomplice to deceit? Word has its way of traveling around. It could find its way back to you. Aside from the rebellion, you have to make an impact on Mazeo's people. The question is, what kind of impact should that be?
I guess this is a lot more complicated than I originally thought.
Everything will be complicated now, Valessa. Don't do anything lightly from this point forward.
Ulrich made a good point, and we had better give it some thought. Everything we did from now on would affect the relationship between our nations. We are no longer just focused on the rebellion, but Mazeo-Valinor relations. It seems that Milas' resignation left us a lot of responsibility in our laps. I shrug and turn towards Valessa and Fontaine. We started to discuss the matter.
What should we do?
I'm going to say I would say Valessa should talk with them. Okay, Elder, it's time to shine. So that's my choice. What do you guys think? Pro should do it or Valessa should do it? Wall of text. It's a visual novel, Dashing. It is a wall of text. And by the way, Dashing, like if you want a wall of text, Major Minor was like really. It did like compared to like it is like night and day, really. And I say that as like a great compliment, because like it's come a long way. Major Minor, really, I probably had at least one complaint every episode. I don't have too many complaints here. Obviously, there's expositionist things, but the way he designed the game is that you can kind of avoid the exposition once you kind of understand sort of how the format works. Like that long talk we had with Ulrich, that's all skippable. Like we could have skipped that entire like talking about what he thinks about individuals and all that other stuff. So it's very possible to skip a bunch of stuff. So we got Valessa. Here we go. Elder, it's time to shine. I stop and think, but come to the conclusion that I believe is best. We shouldn't hide our identities, and we should stick to diplomacy. It's better than setting something up that's bound to backfire on us. M/M? In this game? Like in this game, you can choose whoever. You can choose. I turn to Valessa and give her a nod. I guess this would be her first political move as an elder. We just had to hope that Cameron was willing to play ball. She takes slow, confident steps towards him, and then he notices her. When he does, she steps and crosses her arms, ready to talk.
Do you have an entry permit?
I was actually hoping that wouldn't be an issue. We're here from Valinor on urgent business.
Everyone's business is urgent, ma'am. I can't put you above any other tourist. I need to see some paperwork.
Papers, please.
I don't have any. But please, I'm Valinor's elder. We have urgent business in Mazeo.
The elder? Yeah, and I'm Mayor Grizz. Trust me, that's not the first time I've heard that one. If you don't have papers, I need to ask you to leave.
Listen, this is really important. We
Well,
can't
so you're
afford to waste
failing.
any more time. I'll get the mayor to come verify this once we're inside.
It doesn't work that way, ma'am. You just leave me hanging. Everyone else does. Either present some papers or stop wasting my time.
Like everyone else does. Wait, how many people do you let into the gate and that promise they'll come back? Carmen, you are so bad. Oh, Major Minor. Okay, I thought M/M was male/male. Oh, furries. I was I could tell Valessa is getting annoyed. I've never seen her like this. As if to offer assistance, Ulrich steps forward, clearing his throat. Perfect timing too, as Valessa was about to lose her temper.
I apologize on behalf of the Elder. This is her first time traveling. We are not up to any funny business, I assure you. It's an urgent meeting. The national security of Mazeo and Valinor are both compromised.
I thought you were watching my videos when I played Major Minor, because I have there's a playlist in my playlists, 10 episodes. We did go through that one. I don't remember if you were watching my channel on the regular yet, then Ganovo, but I guess not. If you hadn't heard of it.
Is that so?
But this is the sequel to that game, obviously, or the successor to that game. It's not really a sequel.
Do you have a family, Carmen?
Well, visual novels tend to have much more reading to it. Major Minor, you're saying it was a wall of text. Oh yeah, for sure. There was a bunch of exposition. And as I said before, I don't know if you're here when I said it. I've said it like 3 times this stream. I did 10 about 2.5 to 3 hour episodes. There was literally one episode where there was no action. There was no input or action needed by the player. So for a full 2.5 to 3 hours, it was all reading. There was no like decide this or this or decide this or this. And those decisions were rare to begin with. So it is definitely improved in the interactivity particular part of it. And also the visuals are much better. The stylization of the characters is somewhat growing on me. I was a bit critical of it at first, but now I'm seeing like a different bunch of variances in characters. There's like 3 wolves at the beginning that I kind of got weird, like was kind of like, but now that like we now have Mr. Fluffy Dog over here. He's so cute. He's a cute little guard doggy with like, I don't even know what weapon that is. It looks more like a pine tree on a stick than it does a weapon.
Yeah, I do.
I promise that we are not lying. The Triumvirate is on the move to occupy Valinor, but in order to do so, they'll have to pass through Mazeo. Your family could be in danger. The attack is imminent. All we ask is that you let us through so we can go about our business. Our matters in Mazeo concern the safety of almost every Celestium. If you don't let us through, a lot of innocent people will die. And trust me, we will make it known that you held us back. Do you really want to go down in history like that, Carmen? Or would you rather go down in history as a hero? The man that allowed us to carry out our mission.
Would you allow us to... Do you want to go down as a hero who did nothing but just stand aside?
How do I know I can trust you?
You don't. I'm asking you to take a leap of faith. Is it really worth gambling with the lives of your family?
Now are you threatening his family? Cameron goes solidly and shuffles in place.
I think I remember you.
Yeah, I just left for Valinor yesterday morning. I'm not an outsider. Mazeo is my home. Please, let me and my friends protect it.
And you promise not to tell anybody?
I promise. But you should also abandon your post. No need to pass right through these gates. Your life is worth more than this job. Please, get to safety with your family. Do you really think I'm making this up?
I don't know.
If I just wanted entry, I wouldn't care about you. But this is more than that. I want to help you too. I'll tell Grizz right away so you don't get in trouble.
All right, I trust you.
How about, okay, so if he's abandoning his post because the British are coming, or the Transcendents are coming, those guys, evil dudes, why doesn't he just go to Grace and tell him, like, why doesn't he come with us so we could tell Grace together, you know? Cameron steps to the side and stops blocking the gate.
Just don't make me regret this.
You never will.
You'll never live to regret it. No, I'm just kidding. Auric steps back and he smiles and turns to us. It seems Valessa couldn't accomplish this task on her own, but his help was much appreciated, as we couldn't have done this otherwise.
Thank you, Ulrich. I was drawing a blank the whole time. Maybe I'm not ready for this kind of stuff.
That's preposterous, Valessa. I didn't expect you to succeed. It was your first time. You handled yourself well, and you're gaining experience.
He walks away and Pro approaches the group.
That was pretty amazing. I still think my idea was better, though. I had a whole script in my head and everything.
Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, I had to do all the voices in that one. I could be lazy in this one because he has voice actors doing the whole thing. I have to do my own voice, though. Valessa shrugs and turns to face the gate. At least her first act as Elder would be an open and honest one. We couldn't say the same thing if we were aligned ourselves with Pro.
So, shall we?
He motions to the gate, which is now free for us to enter. After everything we've been through, we're finally here. It is time for us to get started and meet Dominic. This is Pro. It's a new frontier. Man, we're getting an achievement unlocked for every little thing we get through. So it looks like
Hey, Pro?
Pro and Valessa.
What's up?
That can't be your real name.
Why not?
I mean, it's a little odd.
And Valessa isn't?
Furry names are always weird.
You have a point.
Tantroo.
But since you asked, it isn't my real name. The truth is, I don't actually know my real name.
How do you manage that?
I'd rather not talk about it, if it's all the same to you. Pro is just something the orphans called me when I was younger. I showed a knack for picking up skills with ease.
So you're a pro.
Something like that. Any idea why your parents chose Valessa?
No idea, actually. I never thought to question it. But yours kinda stuck out like a sore thumb.
I'll take that as a compliment. Hey, there's something else on my mind, actually.
Oh yeah? What's that?
What's up with the name Fortem? Like, how is that one even possible?
I've always wondered that.
Let's go ask him.
It's bugging me, and I've only known him for a day. It must bother you so much. You've known him forever.
Yeah, but you're good at getting info, right?
That's what I've been told.
Maybe we can work together to find this out. I want to know just what Fortum really means.
Okay, let's do it. Pro and Valessa, on the case.
He wants your name. Dominic 6. Domic's advisor approaches him with a sense of urgency. Having received a summons from Lilith, it was finally time. The future of Mazeo and the rebellion would be decided.
Dominic, may I speak with you?
Oh goodness, it's a spicy guy. I know who this is. Oh, he has an evil brother named Khan. Oh, I get it. That's funny.
Oh, of course. Is everything okay?
I believe you've been waiting for this.
It's time for me to spice up your life. Spice it up. Even more music. He hands Demick the piece of paper in his grip. Soon after, he returns scribbling in his ledger.
Secure a naval army? That's a lot bigger than our initial plans.
Is it an unwelcome change?
Spice stands waiting, ready to record Demick's response.
No, not at all. We were just planning to steal the Triumvirate ships. While they were busy with Valinor, they'd be unmanned.
Oh, I see. Make them attack Valinor first and then steal their ships. You crazy man. I love his orange vest with orange ascot.
But this... it could grow our forces exponentially. Especially if the pirates lend us their army.
Not for free, of course. They'll probably rob Grizz blind in exchange. I recommend not offering them any of our resources. We barely have enough food for our own men. And weapons, for that matter. We need more of those. Do you think you could spin negotiations in our favor?
Of course I can. I'm nothing if not a good negotiator. It seems like everything is in our favor.
This final clause, however.
The one requesting the seer's presence. Pay it no mind, they should be arriving here shortly. In fact, I'll go meet them in the town square right away.
Is their Exodus training regiment finalized? Your schedule should be able to accommodate changes. Your plan is still slow exposure to develop a tolerance, yes?
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. I could only handle it for a mere moment. But I feel stronger, like I could handle more. Oh, of course, I'm not going to touch it again. I'm just assuming the same rules apply to the seer. With controlled exposure, they could wield it longer and longer. Long enough to aid our final assault on Bolteus.
Town Square. As we make our first steps into Mazeo, we all pause and examine the surroundings. It's a crowded mess, with people running in every conceivable direction, as you can tell by this empty background. Market stalls are set up wherever there's room, with a lot of wares, as you can tell by the empty stands in this picture.
Wait, I think I see them.
Wait, I think I see them, right? Fontaine immediately tries to run ahead, enthralled by something he sees in the vast emptiness. Wait, I have hose on this channel? Hoses. You mean those. I think you meant those and not hose. Fontaine immediately tries running ahead, enthralled by something he sees, but before he can get any further, Ulrich grabs him from behind and stops him. This is a hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious. With a tight grip on Fontaine's collar, it's clear he's not going anywhere.
Hey, what gives?
You can't just run off into a crowd like that, Fortin. You will get lost, and I don't have the time to find you. Stay close to us. We'll get over there eventually.
All right.
His ears droop down as he starts to mope about. But before he gets too sad, Ulrich reaches into his pockets. Pulling out some coin, he gives Fontaine with a smile.
Here's some money to spend on whatever you want, but like I said, just make sure you stick close to us. This isn't the kind of place you want to be alone in.
This guy of a humble.
Well, thanks, Ulrich. I'm gonna look for some apples then. Can you point them out for me so I don't get lost?
Yeah, they should be over there.
Pointing to a nearby market stall, Fontaine runs off, jubilant. Free money from Ulrich? He must have taken a liking to Fontaine. Either that or he figured somebody needed to keep him in line.
Well, I guess we should keep an eye out for Dominic. Knowing him, he's already here waiting for us. Do you see him anywhere, bro?
There's too many people. Give me a few minutes. I'll find him.
A few minutes later, Fontaine returns. He's holding an apple, his eyes glistening with happiness.
Look, I finally got what I wanted. It was so expensive, though. I only had enough for one. Guess I'll have to make it last as long as possible, huh?
Only one? You were conned, Fortune. I should have followed you after all.
Conned?
Yeah. You know, Pro's brother.
Yeah, taken advantage of. The locals know a tourist when they see one. They raise the prices because you don't know any better.
Mean.
Sorry, it's my fault. For a moment, I put too much faith in the people. At least now you know all of my warnings were true.
Ulrich lets out a large sigh and continues scouting the surroundings. I could have bought some good booze with that coin. He takes a few steps in different directions as if that helped him his search. But Valessa calls out to us shortly after, pointing back towards the gate.
Is that him?
A man was standing there, starts to laugh and approach us. He was standing with his back against the gate, out of sight. It was a perfect hiding spot since we'd be looking ahead.
I just wanted to see if you'd noticed me, actually. You've got a good eye on you. Valessa, right?
Yeah, the Elder of Valinor. Pleased to meet you, Dominic, sir. Your friends have really talked you up.
So, I kind of noticed just a slight skip in the recording there after she said yeah. So clearly that she would have said yeah, the seer or the seer's the scribe of the seer, or she would have said something. She would have given herself another title. Oh, poor Dashing. You gotta work. I've got to work this weekend too. Like, quite honestly, because unfortunately things have kind of fallen behind. So I got to do my quick Sunday my quick recording for Sunday, and then do my chores on Saturday, and then Sunday probably do a full day of work. That's overtime basically.
And I'm 14.
It's that time of year again.
We've heard a lot about you, actually.
All nonsense, I'm sure.
After smiling at Valessa and Fontaine, he approaches me.
And you must be the seer. It feels like I've been waiting forever to meet you. Honestly, the last little while has been so hectic.
He blushes, and I can tell he's extremely nervous. It's odd because he greeted Valessa and Fontaine with such ease. Don't kill me with your sword, please. It humbles me as a man of such importance treat me this way.
I almost can't believe this is happening. It's an honor to meet you, seer. It truly is.
So I'm holding my hand up to answer the question blindly. You guys can vote on one of the 4 decisions. I know there's 4. So I guess the thing I would ask is I'm honored, but why are you so nervous, man? Right? I didn't picture a general to be so handsome. The honor is all mine. So you're the one who forced me into all this? Or nice to meet you. I didn't ask for this. We have 1, the honor is all mine. We have Dashing saying you're the one who forced me into all this. See, I have so many people who want different responses now. Well, honor. Okay, so we have 2 honor. The honor is all mine. So, as I kind of my job's kind of it's kind of gets on my nerves sometimes, but it's not retail, right? It's I've worked that cashier sort of style job, and I've where it's okay, I work Monday, Friday for sure, and I sure can have weekends off. They don't really break my hand or anything. They're not very that way, but I just kind of like to get ahead of the curve and try to make sure that things are working out. Though the handsome thing is tempting. The picture, uh-oh. Is there a problem? I don't see any problem. Whoop. Is there something the matter? You're a mail fox? Ooh, postal. Yeah, being a mail letter carrier is not always the most stable job. It can kind of get crazy. All right, the honor's all mine, Damek.
And you're just as polite as I imagined. There's no need to be so formal. You're among friends.
I reach out to shake his hand, but he immediately pulls back. With a nervous laugh, he rubs the back of his head. Did I do something wrong? He seemed excited to meet me, so I assumed a handshake was in order.
Anyway, shall we get going? We have quite a busy day ahead of us.
He starts walking, expecting us to follow, but as soon as we gets to Pro, he stops in his tracks.
Oh, just one more thing before we move along. You'll be on cleaning duty for the next month, Pro.
What? What did I do?
It's more about what you didn't do, and the answer to that is everything. I ended up sending Ulrich to pick up your slack. We can't afford to waste time anymore. I'm sure you had your reasons, but...
Yeah, and they were really good reasons. I couldn't just march into Valinor with a blade. I need to have some discretion. It took time.
Really, Pro? You know you can't just throw excuses at me. I know how this stuff works. You were lazy.
He lets out a loud sigh while Pro shuffles in place, ashamed.
I suppose it's my fault in the first place. I should have known better than to send you there. With a tavern in the way, your priorities would be clear.
After their spat, Damek returns to face me with a smile. Even when he was scolding, it was polite. That's interesting. I can start to see why people like to follow him.
Anyway, we have some business with the mayor. Let's head to his house. I'll explain there. After that, I'll give you a tour of our HQ.
Plans with Riz. Is it about the pirates?
I said I'd explain when we get there, Ulrich. We can't talk about this kind of stuff out in the open. Finish up whatever business you have, and we'll get going.
With that said, I guess it was time to head to the mayor's house. I knew nothing about Mazeo, so I didn't know if this was a detour or not. But either way, my training with the Blade of Exodus would surely begin today. I look at Valessa and Fontaine, and we nod at each other. I guess I'd better finish up any business here and then follow Damek. My legs are tired, but it feels like our trek was almost over. Damek is now perleated as a new statistic, morale, has also been unlocked. Troop morale is at 90%. Morale may rise and fall over the course of game. Your army and their welfare will be affected by your choices. Ensure a high morale, or your forces may not survive the coming war. Looks like we have a talky-talk thing here. Access Fontaine heart-to-heart 2. Yes. I notice Fontaine standing at one of the market stalls, enthralled. I take a few steps forward to see what he's looking at, and nobody follows me. It seems they are willing to give us some time alone now that we're in Mazeo.
Hey, Seer! Check this out!
He points to a brush of strange metal objects attached to ropes. Oh, is this one of those tink, 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 tink things? If you could describe anything, it would be metallic claws. I have no idea what they are, however, or why he's so taken by them.
You know, when I climb trees, it's hard to get a grip. But with these, I can just stab them into the tree and hold on. I didn't know these existed. It would make things so much easier.
He shuffles in place, thinking to himself.
You don't think that would hurt the trees, do you?
Do I think it would hurt the trees? So I'm blind. I'm doing a blind check. You guys can make a decision based on the other two. It could do some damage for sure. Of course not. They can take more than that, or it might. You can never be too sure, Fontaine. I think the bottom one is the closest thing to what I said. Alright, so we have one it might. It might, going once. It might, going twice. Oh, we got one. Oh. Alright. Might going twice. It might.
Oh, I guess you're right. Especially since spiritual energy is stored inside of trees. Or at least, that's what they say. I wonder, though.
He leans a bit closer to the marking stall, looking for a price.
And of course, there's no price on them. Probably so they can scam people, too. I'll have to get Ulrich to figure this out.
He smiles and laughs softly before turning to face me.
You know, these markets are pretty cool. What do you think about them, Seer?
The choice will permanently alter your relationship with Fontaine. Okay, so choose carefully, guys. What do I think about the markets? It'd be nice if they put prices on things, or it'd be nice if they weren't so, so scammy or something. I just wish our parents were here with us. Way too many people for our like. A great place to have our first date, I think. They're pretty awesome, yeah. I think way too many people for my liking was the closest I got. I certainly didn't make any allusions to the other three. Pretty dope. I don't think that... Pretty dope, is that like the first one? Pretty awesome, awesome. A great place to have our first date, says Tashing. Too many people, says Ganovo. Great place. Oh! But there's three for first date. Oh my goodness, you guys are going after Fontaine, huh? Alright. Great place going once. Great place going twice. Rabbits, man.
Oh, is that what this is? Well, I did want to have some private time, actually. Hey, I have an idea. Seer, follow me over here.
He grabs an apple out of his pocket and gives me a sly smirk. It's the one Ulrich bought him. He must have not eaten it yet. As he runs away, I follow him and we end up in a nearby back alley.
See? Much better. I can actually hear myself think now. Let's grab a seat and relax. We deserve it.
He motions to the ground. It didn't seem comfortable, but it would do. I sit down and rest my back against the wall. He promptly sits down beside me. Holding out the apple, he inspects it, almost like he's a bit hesitant to eat it.
I wonder if it'll taste like I remember. It's only been around 20 years after all. Hey, let's share it. You should try some too.
He giggles nervously and places his head on my shoulder.
You said this was a date, right? Imagine how mean it would be if I didn't share. Besides, I'd like to spend this moment with someone special.
After a brief pause, he lets out a sigh of relief. I guess he was worried about the physical contact might not be okay. Holding up the apple, he inspects it one final time, blushing.
Here goes nothing.
After a moment, he takes a large bite. Juice drips down his chin as he shakes with excitement. The look on his face tells me that it's every bit as good as he remembers.
Wow. You have got to try this, Seer.
He holds it up, offering it to me. I never got to try these when I was younger. But Fontaine always spoke the world of them. Accepting it with a smile, I grip it in my left hand. To make Fontaine more comfortable, I wrap my arm around him. He leans in closer, letting out a noise I can only describe as happy and content. With a large crunch, I bite into the apple. The sweetness immediately assaults me. It's overwhelming, and my eyes shoot wide open. It's shocking and delicious. I always doubted that there'd be something as good as he said, but I was unequivocally wrong.
See? I told you. It was totally worth the wait.
I nod and hand the apple back to him. We share it with each other, taking turns until it's all gone. After placing the core on the ground, he rests his head on me once more.
But so was this.
He gulps as if he's nervous.
You know, I've never been on a date before. Honestly, this doesn't feel any different from normal. I guess that just means we're comfortable with each other. But do you think the other people will be comfortable with this? I don't think a seer has ever dated a scribe before. I hope we're not doing anything wrong.
Oops. Get a room! So, I'm doing the blind thing right now. I'm gonna say, if the spirits allow it, there shouldn't be anything wrong with it. Alright? Right. What does the spirits say? Who cares what they think? I do what makes me happy. Of course not. They'll definitely be comfortable. Now, neither of those responses are what I said, but I guess the top one's the closest to what I said. Get a room, too. I don't care what they think. I do what makes me happy, says Dashing. We have one. I'm not comfortable with this. I don't think that's a decision, Golden Pie. Alright, so who cares? Who cares going once? Who cares going twice?
Fair enough. That's a good way to look at things. Personally, I put a lot of weight on what others think about me. That's probably not a good thing to do. But it's a hard habit to break. You know, there's so much going on lately. It's nice to just put it all on pause with someone like you. I feel like I could stay in this alley forever. It's peaceful. But I don't want to rush into anything, you know? So let's take this one step at a time. Slowly. Sharing this apple was good enough for me.
He releases his grip on my arm and stands up.
Back to business, I guess? But mark my words, I'm gonna get that climbing gear. And a second set, too. I'll make an apprentice out of you yet.
Let's get down to business to climb all the trees. He smirks and runs back out to the markets. I follow after him and we regroup with everybody else. This was a nice little distraction, but it's time we get back on track. Good, now break up with his ass. Oh, I think that would negatively impact morale. I think. It's like, take the bunny's heart in your paws, and then crush it. Crush it like the little peon it is. Dashing.
Hey!
Alright. Are we in for another exposition dump? Because this might be the last one of the night, depending on how long it is. What can you tell me about yourself, Damek?
Well, it all depends on what you'd like to know. I mean, I'm an open book, but I don't know where to start. Feel free to throw a few questions at me. I'll play along.
How old are you?
27. Not too young, not too old. I'm in the perfect place to be leading this army. A lot of the other victims were far younger than me, and those that weren't were far older. They took a more of a caregiver role. Plenty of orphans needed plenty of parents.
When did you join the rebellion?
I must have been 6 or 7 years old. A lot of the details are like a blur in my head. Maybe my mind did that on purpose, you know. But I was rescued by a small group of townspeople. After the battle died down, they started picking up the scraps. The rebellion wasn't formed just yet. That was just starting. Sailors, the previous elder of Valinor, came to visit. The treaty and the rebellion were formed shortly after. I had no place to go. And no family. I was forced to fight. But that's not really a bad thing, you know. I'm pretty strong now. Trained for almost any scenario. I just wish I didn't have to miss out on a regular childhood.
Are you seeing anybody?
Oh, of course not. I don't have time for that. I mean, maybe when this war is over or something, but right now, I'm far too busy with everything else. And, truth be told, I wouldn't even know where to start. The orphans of the occupation were taught war, not love. Other than fighting this battle, I'm not meant for much else.
For someone who doesn't know much about love, you sure do blush and smile a lot, sir. What are your hobbies?
I don't really have time for hobbies, to be honest. Unless the war table or sparring counts as hobbies. After this war, maybe I'll pick up a few pastimes. But right now, I really don't have the time. I've been training and working since I was a kid. They had no hesitation in letting a child wield a sword.
What can you tell me about the rebellion?
Well, almost everything, I'd assume. I was one of the founding members with sailors. I guess they like that term more than child soldier.
Tell me more about the new HQ.
When the Triumvirate took over Mazeo, they had one goal. Dig deep underground and find the true spirit idol of this nation. They made the honor guard do this, those empty suits of armor. But while they dug, they also created a sort of barracks down there. I'm not sure why, because the honor guard couldn't make use of it. But I'm assuming it was for when real people came for inspections. Either way, they basically turned it into a paradise. Beds, weapons, training rooms, a war table, everything. When I first saw it, I knew I had to win it for the rebellion. Thankfully, Grizz has been turning to our side. It wasn't hard to woo over the mayor and get the deed. His only condition was that he got access to the idol first. I'm not sure what he wants to do with it, but he can't really do anything if I'm honest. Not without you, or the Blade of Exodus.
Alright, yeah, so... yeah, I don't know of Dashing if he allows for... I don't know how... what's it called? Polyamory or polygamy or any of those poly-style relationships work in this game. If it will have a negative impact or if it will have an impact or... It's interesting. It certainly is. We'll see how it does impact the story.
Salus? Well, he was a father figure to a lot of us. That's probably why his sacrifice hit us all so hard. You do remember that he was the Elder of Valinor, right? It's not like he took on a secret double life. He was still the same. If anything, at least now you have an explanation for his trips. He was helping out the rebellion and Valinor. That's a tall order.
Tell me about how it was formed.
Salus saw the chaos and destruction in Mazeo and wanted to help. In fact, even some people from Valinor were here during the occupation. He likely discovered what happened by inquiring after their disappearance.
Well, the funny thing is they called it Mazeo, and everyone else has been calling it Mazeo. It's like, Damek, what kind of accent do you have? Like, everyone else has been pronouncing it Mazeo, and you're like, Mazeo.
Either way, he quickly met with a band of survivors and orphans, offering them funding and protection. The seeds were planted. They became an organization with a goal. They had a purpose. Salus likely knew that Valinor would be occupied as well, so training an army to enact revenge would benefit both nations. They established, over the next 20 years, the orphans grew stronger. As soon as we were battle ready, we launched the Exodus raid. Salus told me more about you, and I took over when he passed.
How many members are there?
Several hundred, but under 1,000. We're a fully realized army, and I know we can do this. With you and that blade, our victory is pretty much secured.
How is troop morale?
It's wonderful. Everybody is in a great mood. We have the numbers and the strength to put up a fight. But on top of that, we have you and the Blade of Exodus.
Don't be so sure of that. Morale plummets to 20%.
When you're trained with it, you can lead the final battle. That blade isn't just a weapon, but a symbol of hope. It sets us apart from every previous insurrection. With its power, you'll be unstoppable. I hope you're ready to go down in history as a hero, the man who changed Alestia, forever.
What can you tell me about the Triumvirate?
We don't know too much about them, to be honest. They're shrouded in mystery and only rule from their chambers. We've tried to coax them out, but so far nothing has worked.
Do you know where they came from?
Not a clue. It's anyone's guess. Hopefully we'll find some answers after all this is over. There's got to be some record of their past, right?
That is the weirdest look he's given.
At least that's what I'm hoping for. But I'll have to be content if we never find out. My main goal is liberating Alestia and gaining freedom.
Do you know how old they are?
At least as old as Alestia, or something like that. History seems to have begun when they did. Either that, or they covered up the past. There's no record of history prior to their rule, so that's why everybody regards them as gods. But there's more to the story. I can feel it in my gut.
Do you know what they look like?
No, we just know that they wear white and gold cloaks. This is from reliable first-hand accounts, of course. Some people have met them and lived to tell. Underneath those cloaks, however, is anyone's guess. Some people even theorize that there's nothing underneath. That's pretty scary if you ask me. They'd be like living spirits.
Did they make the Blade of Exodus?
I think so. As far as we know, they've had it forever. Ancient writings and murals have depicted the blade. We still don't know for sure, though. They could have found it. What we need to worry about is the power the blade houses. It gave them the power to enslave an entire world of innocent people. We must never resort to the same thing. I want to destroy it when this is over.
Will the Blade of Exodus be enough to kill them?
I'd like to think so, yeah. It's actually a bit ironic, isn't it? Their own weapon, used against them. As soon as you learn to use it, we'll be good to go. I have no doubt in my mind that it's strong enough. You were chosen by the spirits for this destiny.
So I mean, I have to make one asterisk note about while we're talking about the concept of relationships with other characters. Obviously, like as furry, it's sort of open. It's very usually good about keeping the relationship tabs open and being able to make relationships with any character that you want. I do notice though that there is only like one female character so far in the story that you really interact with, and that's Valessa. Right? So it's like, like I wonder if there's going to be any more female characters that sort of join our party. Because right now it's pretty much dude, one girl, one gal. Hey, how you doing, lady? Hi, lady. Hi, solitary lady in our party. How are you? Tell me your thoughts on our comrades.
Sure. What would you like to know?
Tell me what you think of Valessa. Oh, you mean the only lady in our party?
Well, I don't really know anything about her yet. But I'd like to change that if I get the opportunity. I think she seems like a wonderful person.
Like literally, these characters have not interacted at all, so I don't know why I would be asking him what he thinks about people right now.
He seems really, energetic. Honestly, you'll have to ask me again in the future. We just haven't had the chance to hang out just yet.
What do you think of Ulrich?
Ulrich is one of my best friends. He really is. There's no man I'd rather have at my back in battle. He saved me from dying more times than I can count. The rebellion basically hinges on my planning and his strength. He'll be at the front of every charge, I can guarantee that much. There's no man in this world quite as strong as him.
What do you think about Pro?
Right now, I'm a little upset with him, but I'll manage. He's my go-to man when something involves being sneaky. His reconnaissance work's been a great boon to our efforts. I suspect you'll be working with him closely in the future. A lot of our final attack on Balteus will involve a stealthy infiltration, but we'll get to more of that in the future, so no need to waste time on it now.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think about me? You were acting kind of strange earlier.
Well, I wouldn't know where to start. You're such an important figure to both me and my army. But to Alestia, you're going to be known as their savior. I have to admit, you're a bit different than I expected. All this stuff had me think you'd be larger than life. But I guess that's my fault. You're just a normal person. The thing that makes you special is on the inside, not the outside. I guess it just benefits us that not everybody can see that, right? We wouldn't want you to be a walking target for the enemy to find.
I'd like to know more about our battle plan.
Sure. Anything specific?
What's the first step when we arrive at HQ?
Well, I'll have you rest for the day. Then we'll start training you with the Blade of Exodus tomorrow. I think that slow exposure therapy will be the best possible approach. As you build a tolerance for its power, you'll be able to wield it longer. Of course, you'll also be training in the basics of swordplay. Ulrich will make sure that you learn everything you need to. We have the benefit of foresight here. We know the Triumvirate will be busy with Valinor. You can train, and we can attack Balteus right under their noses.
Do you have a detailed strategy for our final battle?
Yeah, and it's something you'll be hearing more of. We have some stuff to take care of for now. You'll get used to the war table, trust me.
What will Alestia be like after the war is over?
Probably in chaos and disarray. We can't expect the people to embrace the new leadership, but we'll do our best to win them over and cater to their desires. Anything we can learn about the Triumvirate will also be useful. If we can prove that they're frauds, the people will accept us easier. The only question is, how in the world do we go about doing that? Either way, we'll have lots of work ahead of us. Winning this battle doesn't mean we can sit back and rest. We'll have an entire world to rule and reform. I can't wait.
Do you have any idea how we can save Valinor?
You mean imbue it with spiritual energy? I'm not sure. But I wouldn't classify your nation as dead. Not just yet. The power inside of you is proof that we can redirect it. If the spirits can move power from the land to an individual, well, there's no reason to believe that the reverse isn't possible. That blade is capable of so much. I think it will be the key to all of that.
Hey, this is where I got those apples. Still wish they didn't end up scamming me.
You can never trust anybody around here. Even I get taken advantage of sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, I can let my guard down too. So don't feel bad about your mistake, Forta.
Sounds like he has a cold in these lines.
If anything, he learned an important lesson. Should we go complain? Maybe he can get his money back.
There's no point. They'd never give it back. We'd only end up bringing more attention to ourselves. I think we'll just have to chalk this one up as a loss.
All right. I'm sorry.
You didn't do anything wrong. They did. I'll buy you more apples when I get a chance. The money I gave you could have easily bought 10.
10?
Wow, you can buy
He
weapons
shared
here?
half of it with me.
I mean, they're just laying out in the open.
Yeah, you can buy anything in Mazeo. If it's not legal, then the pirates can get it for you. They call this place the town of infinite connections.
Wow.
Hey, that one looks like your sword, Ulrich. Did you buy your sword from one of these places?
No, my sword is ancient. Rumor says it belonged to an Alaranthian legend. With just how well it's made, I think that's actually true.
Wow, a legend? Explains why you carry it around all the time.
Yeah, I'd hate to leave it unattended. Even when I carry it, people beg me to sell it. But it beats leaving it alone and risking theft.
So you've used that sword for your entire life?
I have, and I'll use it for the rest of my life too. It shows no signs of wearing down. It's perfect. I can't say the same about the ones they have for sale.
Ulrich motions at the market stall that initially got Vales's attention. The merchant glances over at us, understanding Ulrich's accusatory gesture. We quickly run away from the stall before they can speak and chase after us. It's like, hey!
How far back does this town square go?
To be honest, it almost doesn't stop. Mazeo is pretty much one huge market. There's a few residential areas, but they're tiny.
That's insane!
Yeah, but you get used to it.
Where do the people live then?
Most of them have small beds behind their market stalls. Those that are lucky enough to own an actual shop live inside of it. If you want to live in Mazeo, you need to sell something of value.
Or offer your services, like me with my sword arm.
Yeah, you need to do something to make money. If you live in a residential area, that means you're rich. It's a sign of wealth. Like, you don't need to work anymore.
I'm guessing not everybody gets that far.
No, most people live on a day-to-day basis. If they don't sell something that day, they don't eat.
That's crazy. In Valinor, we share everything. We'd never stand by while a citizen starves.
It's capitalism versus socialism.
Yeah, you have it pretty good in Valinor. But this is what I like to call the real world, Valessa. Valinor was special. The rest of the world is more like this.
Hopefully we can change that. Where do you think we'll be living after the war?
If we survive, anywhere we want.
Hey! For what? Like, by the way, this is the first time I've noticed a major difference in the way that it was read versus the text. They've done really good at, like, making the script written and what exactly what it says, but anywhere instead of wherever. That was the first time I've noticed a different line reading than the text. Anything else? Yeah, I think we got everything. The Mazeo Tavern. As soon as we enter the tavern, the smell of ale assaults our noses. This wasn't like Peregrino. This was an entirely different level. Bottles of foreign alcohol lined the shelves. I had no idea where to even start looking.
Good call, Seer. No trip to Mazeo is complete without coming here. If it's time to relax for a bit, I'll just take a seat at the bar.
He gives a sly smirk and immediately takes a seat. A bartender, who I can only describe as overwhelmed, takes his order. Pro takes a few steps forward and afterwards takes a small breath.
You just can't beat that smell. If you need me, I'll just be checking my mail. I've been in Valinor for a while. I'd hate to miss anything.
Trotting off to the corner, he starts to inspect his mailbox. Shelves with letters and numbers are behind the back wall of the tavern. He must pay to have an anonymous address or something like that.
Taverns don't really do anything for me, Seer. I don't mean any offense by this, but I'll be waiting outside. That's not to rush your relaxation or anything. No, you deserve it.
With a smile, he slowly backs out of the tavern. I guess this would be a good chance to talk with Pro and Ulrich. We haven't had enough time to get to know each other yet. Valessa and Fontaine take a seat and start talking amongst themselves. I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world if we wasted a little time in here. Ulrich is chugging a large cup of ale and Pro is carefully reading over some letters. Time to unwind. Alright, so we're going to hit the save button here real quick. And I'm going to go into a new slot because we did do some different stuff here. Purity, morale 90%, books read, corruption 0%. I haven't seen any bookmarkers recently. Oh, there is a book hidden in here. Where's the book? Where's the book? I examine the shelves looking for anything of note. I don't find anything except for a piece of some current news. Couldn't hurt to get a better perspective of Alestia's current state. Resting on the back shelf, I start to read it. It seems to be about Elarinthia, Ulrich's homeland. Apparently, things aren't going very well over there.
Alorinthia's civil conflict. Good.
I wonder who Vivian is. Ulrich would definitely side with someone like her. He thinks that Elarinthia should be more like the mainland. Heart to heart with Pro, sure. Pro rests his back against the mailboxes, sifting through the letters. He must be pretty popular as his hands was full of paper. I can't even imagine if I got that many letters in Valinor.
Oh,
Swiper, no swiping. He looks at me startled and turns to face the mailboxes. As if in a rush, he starts to put various letters in various boxes. Wait, all those letters weren't actually his. Uh-oh.
Well, you caught me. Just don't tell anybody else, alright? This is one of the best ways to get information.
You know, that's kind of snoopy of you, Pro. Come on, man. That's what I'm saying. You can't go through people's mail, Pro. Hey, why don't you let me help you? I'll let it slide if you tell me some secrets. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, man. I caught him sneaking through the mail. Oh, man. I'll let it slide if you tell me for some 3, God please. Tell me some secrets. Can't go through people's mail, says Golden Bonnie. I don't know what you're talking about. So we have like one can't go through other people's mail, one I'll let it slide, one I don't know what you're talking about. So we're pretty spread out, guys. We're spread pretty thin. Ganova or Strangelove could break the tie. Or they can create a new one. I am so not going to answer 2. Well, if you're not going to answer 2, you have to pick one of the other 3. I'll help Pro sneak through the mail. 3 is more fun. All right. Since the answer I gave blindly was closest to can't go snooping through other people's mail. Going once. Going twice. Gunvolo. Z, come on, pick one. All right, we have an answer. Never mind. I'll let it slide if you tell me some secrets.
Oh? Are you trying to blackmail me? Honestly, I didn't think you were the type. I'm immediately more interested in you. But, to be honest, that won't work on me. I can play my way out of pretty much any situation. So do your worst, and I promise I'll adapt.
He turns back to the mailboxes and raids them once again. I guess he assumed it was okay since I was one of his comrades. Big smile appears on his face as he borrows private information.
It's amazing what some of these people get up to. The most innocent people could be involved in awful things. See, I can beat blackmail, but, these people can't. It's a good way to line the rebellion's coffers. So later today, I'm gonna pay this guy a visit.
He taps on the papers in his hands.
It would seem a reputable business owner is up to no good. I think he'd lose some business if people found out he worked with pirates. If I got him to pay me off, I could feed the rebellion for months, Seer.
He looks at me as if waiting for my approval.
Is everything okay? I'm not scaring you away, am I? This kind of stuff isn't for everybody.
I know there's two choices here, but it's more like you gotta do what you gotta do to survive, you know? Sometimes you gotta make money off of the scummy people, I suppose. You can't scare me off, let's do this. You can't feed the Benny with dirty money, Poe. Oh, that's pretty binary. It's like, tell us a damn secret. I know, don't you hate it when you answer a question, you basically, like, ask a character and, F it, let's do it. Let's do it. We have one person saying let's do it. Yeah, I always hate it when it's like a response, but it's not really the response that you were asking. It's sort of like some of those it happened every once in a while with Mass Effect, right? Where you would say something and you thought, like, it would give like a general synopsis of what you're saying. And then, like, basically your statement would be completely different than what you thought it was. I mean, it's always the worst. I think Fallout 4 was a big problem with that. Alright, so let's do it.
Now you're talking. This'll be my biggest score in months. I'll get it done tonight, and then celebrate in my room back at HQ. Feel free to pay me a visit. I'd be down for some quality time together. I mean, you still want to be friends, right? I hope all this danger doesn't scare you away. I'm not like this all the time. Trust me, Seer.
Alright, I'm putting my hand up here. So I'm putting my hand up to make a blind statement. It's like, no, it's not anything too scary. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, I need to learn more about how these guys operate, right? I'll think about it, actually. Hopefully we can be more than friends, or of course we can be friends pro. Oh my goodness. They just go like right for the wink wink nudge nudge. I know what you degenerates are gonna say. Oh goodness. Of course we can be friends. That's what you degenerates said, too. Hopefully we are them friends. Friends. So far we're friend zoning pro. And there it is! Yeah. Hey, when romance is an option, some people like it. It's fine. People make their choices. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. No one's gonna go, I'll think about it, actually. I'll think about it. Alright, 2 going once. Friend zone going twice. We're in the friend zone.
Good. I'm glad. You caught me, so I had to come clean. Otherwise, I would have kept this stuff secret. Not many people know what I actually do. But if you pay attention, it's not too much of a stretch. It's just something I picked up from years on the streets. Maybe I'll tell you a bit more back at HQ. I'll use this big score to buy a bottle of wine. We can crack it open and get to know each other.
He carefully places the letters back in their respective mailboxes. Clapping his hands together as if to brush off dust, he looks right at me, squinting his eyes as if to try to judge or gauge me.
I gotta admit, you're a bit different than I expected. That's surprising, since I'm usually a good judge of character. You'd make an interesting subject to write about, you know.
I shrug, unsure of how to respond to such a thing.
Now I'm getting ahead of myself. I apologize. Let's just stick to the plan. Bottle of wine, Rebel HQ. I have a new target, so I should probably get going.
He smiles and rests a hand on my shoulder.
There's not many people I can talk to about this kind of stuff. If If I have to be honest, I'd say I'm kinda glad that you caught me. Next time we talk, it'll be your turn to spill some secrets. Alright?
With a sly smirk, he slowly walks away from the mailbox. I guess now I know a little bit more about Pro's true nature. But in a time of war, I guess he had to resort to stuff like that. Demick must only allow it as a necessity. I'm sure Pro would stop this behavior once the war was over. So, rather than condemn him, I choose to take him up on his offer. Learning more about him over a drink could prove to be entertaining. And at the end of the day, it wouldn't hurt to have another friend. I turn back to the tavern, ready to move to the next step. Alright. And we're going to save. And then we're going to talk to Ulrich. Access Heart-to-Heart 1 for Ulrich. Now you can't return from the friend zone now. You could probably return from the friend zone. I don't think any of these are really major decisions. Cause with Fontaine, the Heart-to-Heart 1, we sort of friend zoned him, and then number 2 we kind of went full in, and it sort of showed a completely different thing. So I'm sure that the options are going to be a little different. I sit down beside Ulrich and look him over. A couple of empty grasses strewn about signal that he's already had a few. However, he doesn't seem to show it. Not at all. He's calm and collected. Well, he's a frickin' huge dude. I'm sure he can drink.
Hey, Seer, come to join me? I can recommend a few drinks if you'd like. Do you want something strong, or should we start weak?
Well, I don't know. I don't drink all that much, so I'm surprised it doesn't give you the option of I don't drink, right? Obviously, if I were me, I wouldn't be. I don't drink too much. I do the occasional, maybe once. We have one going strong. I've never escaped to the friend zone. Were you, Golden Body, didn't you have somebody who came in here with you earlier, a few months ago? I thought somebody was. I know one of the people who were showing up in my channel had somebody else showing up with them, and they were kind of a couple. I don't know if it was you that I was remembering or not. Strong. We have one strong. Aw, sorry to hear that, Golden. Too strong. Too strong. Too strong. We have too strong. It's not that I don't drink, it's that I drink occasionally. As I put on the doctor's thing, it's oh, how many drinks do you have a week? It's 1/4, 1/8, because it's usually it's one on Christmas, one at once, usually maybe one a day at a con, maybe. I'm not pure. I'm not a square. I'm a rhombus. I'm slightly askew, okay? Alright. Strong going once. Strong going twice.
Perfect choice. Barkeep, more of the same.
He motions to the bartender for a few moments. I'm given a glass. Ulrich watches me with a smirk as I take a large swig and swallow it down. It's strong, almost enough to make me cough, but I maintain my cool.
I thought that'd be a bit much, honestly. Good to know you can handle it like that. It's strong, but not quite on my level. Want another one? What are you in the mood for?
Maybe I should calm it down a bit. Just a bit stronger, not too much. I want what you have. All right, are we gonna collapse under the table, or are we going to maintain our composure? Hey, the seer is one with the spirits, okay, guys? The seer is one with the spirits, and so the seer has to drink the spirits. All right, the spirits. You must drink the spirits to be one with the spirits. Okay, so here's the deal, and this is probably going to solidify it. If I'm gonna drink what he's having, I'm gonna have to slur my speech for the rest of the night whenever I'm doing my narratives. Okay, that's the deal. That's the deal, yo. If I go it. All right, it sounds like that's what's gonna happen. Drink, 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 drink. Going once. Going twice. How high would you have?
Now you're talking. Here, I promise you won't regret this.
I'm sure I will, but here we go. Once again, he motions to the bartender, and I'm given a drink. I can tell that this one is stronger. And it's exactly the same as Ulrich's. As time passes, I know he starts to exhibit signs of inebriation. I grip the glass and take a large swig. Oh, that burns. My eyes too wide open, and I try not to spit it out. It's a brave battle, but I eventually stomach it all.
Wow, you're good. Most people can't handle this stuff. Mazeo is known for its strong liquor.
He crosses his arm and stares at me with a blank look. But after his facial expression becomes more stern, it's clear that the drinks are starting to get to him and fast.
I guess I'll stop messing with you for now. Truth is, I just wanted to see how much you could handle. It's a good test, nice judge of character, and you passed.
He's testing me?
You learn a lot about someone by how they hold their liquor. You're strong, at least. You have a strong will. I respect that. This is part of how they do things back in Alarenthia. I know I say I hate it, and I truly do, but some of its culture sticks with me. You left Valinor, so it'll likely be the same.
He waves to the bartender, who brings him another drink. Honestly, I'm surprised he's still coherent. That's crazy! Swinging it down, let's sigh of complete content.
Sorry for rambling on like that. If there's anything I hate, it's a one-sided conversation. Is there anything you want to ask me? Right now, I'm an open book.
I'm sure you are an open book, Sonny, because you had a lot to drink. I could tell. You got nice muscles, man. You got like a nice six-pack, and it looks like a big old keg, and you got a real large sword, and you know how to handle it, and those beautiful little blue eyes of yours. Oh man, and the little cute little doggy ears right on your face, they're cute and they're perky, and you're somehow able to stand there even after you had all your drink. This is the longest blind answer I've ever given, but I'm feeling it right now, man. I am feeling it right now. There's probably no answer on this thing that even is close to anything I just said. And I'm just realizing that I'm a player playing a game right now. So what are people voting for? I don't know. Let's see. Tell me about your love like, Ulrich. Well, you're just telling me about Alarenthia. Or do you think there's any way we can save Valinor? That doesn't sound like anything a drunk person would ask anybody. All those questions sound way too sober. Yeah, I'm incapable. I have not been drunk. I have never been drunk. And I don't even think I've been inebriated. Like I've had like, you know, obviously it's like you have like the slight buzz, but I've never had like anything that strong. I'm just being stereotypical silliness there. Because I know how you guys operate. 1. Golden Bunny said 1. Everyone else is saying 2. Zero is not an option. Strange love. You're just telling me about other India? Wait, Dashing, you took it back. I bet you'd be a fun drunk. I don't know, honestly. You've tried. Wait, what? You have? Oh yeah, we did have like 3 beers, right? That's probably the most I've had to drink in one sitting. Quite honestly. But yeah, I was definitely not drunk after that. Like yeah, the Strange Love and his friend came over once when they were on a trip. Yes, he said 1. Alright, so someone switched their vote to 1. Tell me about your love life. Alright. I cry when I drink. Well, that's the whole thing, like, with being drunk. It's sort of a social thing. Like, the thing about drinking, to me, is it's like anything else. If you get too used to tying it with the joys of your life, then in times when you don't have a lot of joy and you're by yourself and everything else like that, your brain sort of tricks itself into thinking, oh, well, I'm going to drink to have a great time, right? And so you kind of tie your good times with, you know, the drink, because you're tying the social in with the drink, and when it gets to that point, then you might start drinking even when you really shouldn't be. And that's never good, because then you trick yourself. It's sort of like the whole like stimulus thing. We'll all be alone forever. Tell me about your love life, Ulrich.
There isn't one to talk about, but that's by choice. I prefer to keep things casual without any strings. I have my reasons, but it served me just fine.
He smiles at me and takes another swig of his drink.
Don't worry. I've definitely noticed your interest. So that's why I'm making things as clear as possible. Knowing that, do you really want to continue down this path?
Oh boy. I don't know. You might kick my butt. Well, this is a very binary choice. Yes or no. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna get a drink of a non-alcohol beverage, because my throat's kind of parched after trying to pretend to be drunk. No, I just thought of something. It's gonna be real. Like if we do like this whole like Fontaine and Ulrich thing, like if it does allow for consequence-free polyamory, like Ulrich and like Fontaine are like completely 2 different types of people. In fact, if you were making character sheets of these 2 characters, they'd be basically the opposite of each other. Like, hey, we should have someone really tiny and energetic and very talkative and chattery. And we should have someone big and strong and stoic. Right? Open relationship alert. Open relationship alert. We have one Dashing saying yes. That's the first person. Yes or no, basically that's what it comes down to. Dashing is really like, yes, yes. Robin is no. Golden is no. Let me know if I'm pronouncing your name right, Romier. I could always just say Reynard. I'd say 2, even he's advising caution. It's like, do you want to go down this path? Oh, we got 1 for Strangelove. I think everyone has voted. And most of them are 2. 2 going once. 2 going twice. Sorry, Ulrich, not right now. I don't think I can do that.
No worries, everybody is different. Thanks for being honest, though. So, we'll just be drinking buddies. I'm fine with that. It's been a long time since I've done this. Namek always had me running all over the place. Either way, I think I've had enough. I'm gonna buy a bottle to bring to my chambers. Feel free to join me if you want to share another drink.
I nod and stand up, but all the drinks hit me at once. I immediately stumble over using the bar to brace myself.
Hey now, watch your step. The ground here could do some real damage.
Gravity. It's all gravity's fault. Everything in the world you can blame on gravity. Every problem in the world wouldn't exist if gravity didn't exist, because nobody would be grounded. Everybody would be floating around. No one would drop anything. No one would have any issues. They could all just fly everywhere. You wouldn't need cars. You could just fly because there's no gravity. Anyways, I shake my head and regain my clarity. It's a mystery to me how Ulrich can handle this stuff. It would be a long time before I reached his level. Hey, Two Chucks, how's it going? Oh, he looks like he's gonna cry. No, he's fine. True to his word, Ulrich orders a bottle of alcohol and walks away. Socializing with the tavern patrons, it seemed like our moment was over. I take a few breaths, ensure my head is clear before moving. I guess we had to take things back on track. As enjoyable as this was, we had business to take care of. Hopefully, had more time to unwind in the future. And I believe that's all there is for this place. So we're going to head to... Oops. I already read that book, thanks.
So, you ever drink this stuff before?
Yeah, I just did. Most of the bar broadly and everything. I've never seen the bottles of alcohol, so I'm totally clueless. We're a complete different region of Alestia, so it's all new to me.
Join me. I can pick out the good stuff. Without me, you'd just be wasting time. Half the stuff on display isn't even that good. To be honest, they keep a lot of the good stuff down there.
Points underneath the bar. I guess that made sense.
Cheers, by the way.
He holds up a glass before taking a huge swig of ale.
It just doesn't compare to what they had at Peregrino. Anyway, I'll let you take care of your business. I'm right here.
I'm gonna pick the empty slot. So morale is still at 90%. Alright, we're gonna do the mayor's house, and that'll probably be it for the night. So we'll see. We follow after Damek and embark on what seems to be like an endless journey. However, for an hour or so of walking, we end up in a residential area. In Maliko, everything is an hour away from everything else. Have you noticed that? The buildings here are built beautifully, very different from before.
Wow, This place looks incredible. Our town square was a little bit off. Not the best first impression, if you ask me.
It's a sign of wealth to live far away from the markets. Only those who work live near the town square. Once you've got it made, you move out here.
And we made it so quickly. All it took
That
was
is, of
drinking.
course, unless you're important to Mazeo. Grizz gets to live here free of charge for his services. That offer even extends to Lilith, his assistant.
You mean like our elder back in Valinworth?
Yeah, exactly. So make sure to be careful. In this district, pretty much everyone is royalty. Or at least they expect to be treated that way.
Alright, thanks for the advice, Dominic.
She moves to the back of the group almost like she's worried. We continue to walk, but not for much longer. Demek stops in his tracks.
To your right, Grizz's office. Sorry it took a while, but you know how it is. It'll be an even longer trek back to our new HQ.
He laughs and motions to the nearby building. It stood out from the rest in both quality and size.
It's time for you to tell us what's going on. I hate being left in the dark like this. You know that.
Of course. You know I'm a man of my word. I just didn't like talking about the stuff in the town square.
He cracks his knuckles, like he's preparing for something. He faces towards Valencia, Fontaine, and myself with a smile. It's almost like he assumes that Ulrich and Pro are up to speed.
Well, as you know, Mazeo is rampant with piracy. All of that chaos needs some sort of order, right? 2 pirates have risen to the challenge, Alex and Nada.
So you're a true neutral, aren't you, Dominic?
Unifying all the pirates isn't an easy task, but they did it. They have established trade routes in the largest fleet in the world. We want to strike a deal with them and gain some ships. Easy, right? When we attack Balteus, we won't be able to hold back. Having enough ships to carry our massive army over is essential. And if we can get the pirates to fight with us, even better. Grizz made it clear that he wants to cut a deal. In order to win them over, we'll need to bend to their will. However, after learning that Alex and Nada have started to fight, now we have to choose who we side with. They both want different things, but they both offer ships. That's why we're here. I imagine they're waiting inside.
He speaks with such passion and enthusiasm, it's enthralling. It was clear that he truly cared for Alessia and its people.
The future of Mazeo is likely going to change. It's so exciting. I'll negotiate with them and Grizz will make any necessary decrees. I just want my favorite people present. So that's why you're all here.
Wait, I'm your favorite person? I don't even know you, man. He smiles and turns over to Ulrich and Pro.
I trust there aren't any objections.
Ulrich scoffs, crossing his arms.
You sure upped the scale of our attack. I thought we just planned to steal a few ships, but now you want an entire fleet? What changed?
We need to give this our all if we're going to win. But remember, we have a world to reshape when we're done. Striking a deal with the pirates is something that needs to happen. I mean, we could wait until after the war, but if we do it now, we stand a better chance of winning. Plus, the people need to know that we're capable rulers too.
Fair enough. I concede.
Ulrich smiles, the promise of power and might appealing to his curiosity.
That's brilliant, Dominic. Taking care of 10 problems with one move, as usual. I'm just glad that they get to see for themselves now.
He motions to Valessa, Fontaine, and I. That seemed like a sound strategy, to be honest. Gain military might and prove himself capable of leadership. The people would need to know what he's worth following. Releasing Mazeo's grip from the Triumvirate would be a great start. And thankfully, Grise was on our side. This wouldn't be possible otherwise.
Well, I guess it's time. I'm a little nervous, but I'll manage.
With a quick smirk, he's on his way inside. Pro and Ulrich go too. expecting us to follow suit.
Man, things are sure busy around here. Hope we get to rest when we get to our HQ.
Come on, Fortin. It's interesting. We're watching history in the making here.
If it's history, then it'll be in a book. I'd just sleep and read it when I get up.
They talk amongst themselves as they enter Gry's house. I guess I should hurry in, so I don't miss anything. Alright, let's go in. When I enter Gry's house, I am taken aback by how massive it is. A front desk, probably for his assistant, rests near the front door. But behind it is a massive atrium, with a staircase leading up. I am willing to bet that Gry's office is at the top of the staircase. I'll look around and find Damek, Aldrich, and Pro chatting with a woman. This must be the assistant that Damek mentioned earlier. After noticing me enter, she quickly approaches us. Valessa and Fontaine retreat behind me, leaving me in charge. I take a step forward to introduce myself without hesitation.
I've heard so much about you, Seer. It's a pleasure to finally meet you in person.
Nice petticoat. She puts her hand forward and I give her a firm handshake. Valessa and Fontaine are immediately at ease and she's very friendly. For a moment, I'm not entirely sure what they were expecting.
I'm guessing that's the Blade of Exodus.
She tilts her head towards my back.
You can take that cloak off in here, by the way. Everybody in this office knows what's going on. There's no need to hide around Gryz, or myself.
I nod and remove the makeshift hood from my head. I feel the fresh Mason air in my face for the first time.
Come back here with the rest of us, alright? I think they're almost ready to head upstairs.
She motions to the main landing area of the atrium. We move past her desk, which acts almost like a barrier. I'm assuming she accessed Gry's guard as well, standing watch. After a few moments, we regroup with the others. They are talking amongst themselves, but Lilith brings that to an end. Clapping her hands together once and very loudly, their attention is grabbed.
Sorry, Lilith. Just lots to think about at the moment. I'm almost nervous to walk up there, if I'm honest.
There's no need to be nervous, Damek. It won't be any different from the last time you were here. Just a few added bodies, that's all. Not the end of the world.
I just don't want to make the wrong choice. There's a lot riding on this, Lilith.
Have you made the wrong choice in the past?
Well, I don't think so.
Then you'll be fine. Besides, Alex and Nada aren't too bad. They're both playing ball to get what they want. That means they'll have to be on their best behavior. So if being in the presence of pirates was a worry for...
Oh, no, that's not it at all. I'm more than happy to work with the pirates. You're right, though. I have a good track record.
He lets out a nervous laugh before looking up at the top of the stairs.
I guess that'll have to do. Are they ready?
Yeah, they're expecting all of you. It might be a bit crowded, but you'll manage.
Did you happen to overhear anything? You know, so I don't go in blind.
Unfortunately, no. They're being very discreet.
Oh well, worth a shot. I guess it's finally time to do this. Are you ready, everybody?
He looks at all of us one by one and we nod. I can tell he's trying to delay this, but I'm not sure why.
Gryz will give me a debriefing when you're done. I know you're busy, so after this, just go on your way. Lots to do and little time to do it, right?
She glances at me and the sword on my back before walking away. It seems this quick detour wasn't going to be quick at all. During these negotiations, everything could change. Hopefully, Damek would be able to get what he needs. I just hope that the pirates' demands aren't too extreme. With the high ground, they had the right to request anything. We all look at the top of the stairs, ready to get things moving. This would be a very important moment for Damek and the rebels. To that end, we shouldn't keep Gryz waiting too much longer. And with that, I think we're going to stop for tonight, because it's after midnight now. We'll continue and we'll kind of look at this area a little bit more when we'll return to this thing here next week, and there's a hidden book somewhere, so I gotta remember the hidden book. We have 2 conversations, but we're gonna do those next time. She's got red hair, yeah. She's a redhead cat. She's pretty. I think the name Lilith sounds familiar, and I recognize, like, it sounds like maybe a Twitter handle I've seen. Because it might be the case that, like, these are characters that are actual personas of actual people, because that happened with the first game. But none of them, like, the fun thing about, like, what he does, Clace does, is, like, the characters in his games, if they are personas and tied with people, they're usually people that, you know, you don't really know all that well, so they can be seen as original characters in and of their own right. Because it's like I don't, like, they're not names, even not as familiar with the fandom as I am, I don't recognize these names off the top of my head, but Lilith is sort of like ringing a bell somewhere in my brain, like I've seen the name before. But anyways, yeah, so we're going to continue our adventure next week. It'll be 9/13. At 8:30 p.m. we will continue our journey, and we will go into the meeting room to determine the future of Mazeo and the pirates. So a big decision coming up. Will we make the corrupt decision, or will we make what's it called? There's the corrupt and there's the save game. Help me out here. Purity. There's purity and there's corruption. Alright. Maybe we'll make the right choice. Or maybe we'll make the wrong choice. Who knows? If you come to the thing, we might make the choice together. So we'll see you next week. And we can make more choices.